Just wait until a couple more people trickle in, I guess.
Okay, I'll make a tweet about it as well.
Yep, go ahead.
There. Okay.
All right.
And tweet is up.
All right. Let's see who we've got here. Oh, we've got Hero and Blue. All right.
Oh. I'm being messaged saying that they are able to hear us right now. I don't know if that's
No,
intentional or not.
that's fine.
Okay.
Because
Just
yeah,
making sure.
we're just in the preliminary, so hey,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine if they can hear us over whatever loading
Hello,
screen.
chat.
Waiting room's a waiting room, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh god.
You alright?
I choked on my spit.
Hey,
Oh god.
get some water, clear out your throat, man.
Yeah, no, I got in trouble from one of my friends yesterday because I was recording a lot of stuff, but I was drinking soda while I was doing it, and they got really mad at me for that.
No, even I would get mad at you for that. Is the thing, because when you record stuff, it's better if you have something warmer to ease your throat.
Okay, good to know.
Because yeah, warmer stuff just opens up your throat a bit more. If you drink something cold, you can kind of make it a lot more coarse, rough. It's just like, doesn't exactly help out too
Okay.
much. Kind of ironic in which case when you go to a karaoke place and they decide, oh, have a cold drink or have some alcohol. So yeah, that tends to destroy your throat instead. Anyhow, looks
I
like
guess.
we've got a decent bunch here. Let's get started, I guess. Transition over. Alright, so I don't really have a proper introduction for this kind of stuff. Neither did I ever do one when I was on radio, really, so... Hey.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, that works well enough, so... By all means, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh man, I don't even have an introduction, like a proper one, now that I think about it. I am Kinoshita Yasen. I am a ninja VTuber. I'm not particularly great at most things, but I enjoy playing games and I like to dabble in some art and singing. And I cry a lot, I guess.
That's an interesting summary of things that you have. Let's see, games, dabbling in art, music, and crying a lot. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll ask the one that stood out the most in that one. So why do you end up crying a lot?
So I'm the kind of person who, like, I'll wear my heart on my sleeve, right? And I'll get really sentimental over things very, very easily, especially when I feel like I owe a lot to people or when it's about people who I feel are important to me. So, like, with my debut stream, for example, I cried like on 3 different parts during that stream every single time me trying to thank someone else. And
Oh
then
my.
yeah, there's been times when like I'm streaming and then I'll get a lot of support from chat and then I just end up crying. Cause I don't know, I'm just I don't a lot of the time I don't feel like I do anything particularly special. So I don't really expect much in terms of thanks or anything or support or anything. So I kind of just it surprises me and then I get all emotional because of it.
Let's see. I'd say wearing your
So
heart
yeah.
on your sleeve ain't so bad. People can tell
Mm.
what you're thinking. Not very honest, I'll say.
Mm.
Let's see
Yeah.
then. Well, the other points during that introduction. So, art and music. How long have you been dabbling? What kind of stuff do you do with it?
Oh god. Like barely at all because well with art I enjoy drawing. It's just I only ever actually do it in bursts, I guess. Like I'll be motivated to draw something out of nowhere and then I'll be like, all right, I'll do it. And then either I finish it or if I don't finish it and put it aside, I end up not doing anything related to art for like a month or 2 months or even more than that because I don't know. It's I'm not particularly confident with my art skills, even though I know it's one of those things where the more you do it, you'll get better.
Hmm.
But I don't know because it's not something I ever learned in or well took classes or learned anything about. I kind of just wanted to draw and then I would try and emulate other people's art styles. So I don't really have a style of my own or anything either. I
Hmm.
kind of just try. I don't know.
No, that's fair enough. I get the sentiment because even I myself am something of a terrible artist, or the kind of artist most people would want to throw off the side of a building at least. Because in my case, I don't do art very often myself.
Hmm.
In fact, the only piece of art I have which looks half decent these days is what I've got as my current profile and what you're seeing on stream pretty much.
Oh,
And
so you drew that yourself?
yeah, it was a
Oh.
random afternoon of procrastinating from exams, and I was just like, you know what? It's been too many years. Why don't I draw something?
Mm-hmm.
And I probably committed all the sins possible while drawing this thing, including doing everything on maybe 1 or 2 layers.
Oh my god.
Yeah, not good practice. And I also drew it with a trackpad, actually.
Ah. Hmm. Hmm. A trackpad.
Yep, I I'm not entirely sure why I did that or how it came about like that, but hey, trackpad's an
I
instrument
mean,
for art, you know?
that that takes I don't know. I think that takes a lot of skill myself though, because like I'm looking at it and I mean, I would pay money for that. So, mm,
I don't know. It's one of those things I had to abandon though, art, because too many other fields, too many other disciplines to look after.
uh,
And art
yeah.
was one of those ones I could probably do without. So, yeah,
Mm,
had to throw it to the wayside. Do you have anything like
that's
that, I
unfortunate.
guess? Like, is there anything that you had to toss aside but wanted to keep going with?
Mm, so something that I really enjoyed doing, I stopped back in high school. It was playing basketball because I really, really enjoyed playing basketball. But I was on vacation one time with my family, and then I actually ended up dislocating my shoulder.
I,
And from what I was told at the time is that when you do dislocate your shoulder or any part of your body for that matter, the ligament in the joint becomes damaged, and over time it will heal, but unless you get a surgery to like put a pin in that area, it will always have that chance to dislocate again. And I didn't want to do the surgery because it would be like half a year in a cast after that, and then I had to do rehab after. and I just didn't want to deal with all that stress because it was in my dominant arm too. So that would have been very, very troubling.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be quite a while out of action, really.
Mm-hmm. So
So,
in the end, I just ended up stop playing, and it makes me really sad because I do want to play even if like casually with friends, but even now I still have to be careful with it, and that was like years ago too.
it's just one of those things that doesn't quite heal, eh? Hmm.
Yeah. I haven't had to deal with that in a long time at least, but then again, I stopped playing sports in general because I just don't wanna risk something like that.
Fair enough. Like,
Mhm.
myself, I used to be something of a sporty person. These days, it's very questionable the kind of sport I can still pull off, at least. But
Mm.
yeah, because it's not necessarily injury or anything, it's just too long sedentary lifestyle, just everything goes to hell. The last time
Uh,
I tried any physical activity, yeah, I came back full of aches and pains and didn't want to get up for a day or two. Because, as it turns out, rock climbing is not friendly.
oh. Oh, so you did rock climbing then? That's
Bouldering
fun
more
though.
so, but yeah,
Mm.
that kind
Yeah.
just kills every bone in your body for at least a
I can
day or two.
imagine so. Yeah. 'Cause you're using a lot when you're climbing?
Hmm.
Yeah, I imagine you're using a lot of different muscles in your body with that.
Yeah, you throw your back into it as well, so
Mm. Yeah. That would be
yeah,
Hmm.
I'll ask one of the audience questions here. So, what was Yasen before Yasen? So, what were you doing before you started streaming, debuting the whole VTuber shtick?
Mm. Honestly, there wasn't much that I was doing. Like, I saw this question and I actually thought about, like, how I would answer this. What did I do before all this? And I guess leading up to this, I actually, I used to still be a part of the VTuber community in a different sense. I was translating clips. I was doing fan translations, part of another group that I won't say because of doxing things, but yeah, I used to translate clips because it was good Japanese practice for me. And then I know that I enjoyed watch because I was able to watch a lot of streams without because I could understand the language at least audibly and for like a majority of it.
Oh,
There were
okay.
bits that I couldn't. Yeah, there were bits that I can't pick up immediately. I'd have to like go back to the VOD and watch it again. But for the most part, I was able to understand what was going on.
The
So and I
conversational
thought,
Japanese, I suppose.
yeah, yeah. And so I thought, if I can understand it, some people can't understand it, might as well help them, right?
Yeah.
Because it's fun. It's fun to watch. So,
hmm Like
hmm.
myself, I can maybe understand like 30%, probably lower than that, really. My
Hmm.
own Japanese is very much restricted to being able to listen and then sing it. And that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easier language to understand by ear than it is to read.
Hmm.
At least I think so. Because there's a lot of the kanji can get complicated and have more than one meaning, so it makes it hard to understand unless you have like all the context of the stuff being written.
Oh yeah, like Japanese is very much a language full of puns, and it gets very
Mhm.
ridiculous because you think, oh,
Mhm.
whenever you hear someone's like namesake, it's just like, wait, that means way too many different things at once.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's part of their naming convention, if I remember correctly. Usually the given name will normally be in hiragana or katakana depending on the family, but then the family name usually has like symbolic meaning
Hmm.
with the kanji.
Oh, that's interesting to note because I never knew about any kind of naming convention in that regard. I was under
Mm.
more the impression that they kind of just slapped some kanji together, and then there were certain ones which were more suitable last names and more suitable for first names. That
I
kind of
mean, that's
stuff.
what I read before,
Hmm.
but Can't trust everything, I guess.
It's an interesting consideration at least.
Hmm.
In which case, why'd you settle on Kinoshita Yasen?
So back when I was coming up with the design, I had two different sort of thematics that I wanted to go with. I ended up going with the one I'm using now, which is the more ninja sort of thematic. And I wanted, because I enjoy writing stories, not that I do that much anymore these days, but I liked whenever I would write a character or anything, I normally like to give their name some form of symbolic meaning or some relation to the character themselves.
Yeah,
So
I know that feeling all too
the
well.
yeah, the kanji in Kinoshita Yasen for Kinoshita uses the kanji for tree and beneath, and then Yasen uses the kanji for night and combat. So putting it together, it told a story. At least in my head, it was a battle at night beneath the trees,
Oh,
which
wow, okay. That's fancy.
which and that played into the character, right? Because I don't know, battle at night, ninja, beneath the trees, a hidden location in a forest, because that was my setting originally. And I may or may not have taken some of the inspiration from a certain game involving boat girls, but
Oh, I see. I was like, wait, yes, yes. Oh no.
Yeah, there's some
yeah.
people who've called me out, and then I'm like, "You're right. You're very right. I'm sorry, but you're right."
God. Wait, yeah, that took me a moment to process. I was like, wait, oh no, there is
Mhm.
one boat girl which just screams yes.
Yeah, that character, as you can tell, is my favorite, and I drew a lot of inspiration from that.
Oh, I see it now actually. Yeah. No, that was one I wasn't quite expecting. Like Sendai, okay, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I don't know. I just like ninja thematics in general.
Hmm.
A lot of characters that I like happen to be like rogue-like or ninja kind of characters.
I mean, it's cool, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like myself, I've been compared to, let's see, from Kankole, Kasumi.
Kasumi?
Yep,
Yeah.
immediately just Kasumi. When I looked at it again, I was like, ah, yes, this is Kasumi. Oh dear.
Yeah, I saw your picture at first. I'm like, is that Kasumi? I don't think it is, but it looks very similar.
Yeah. But yeah, if I'm to throw a curveball at you here, it would be when it comes to VTubing, do you consider setting as something very important?
I guess it depends on how into your character you're going to be playing. Because when it comes, like, for the companies, right, like Hololive or Nijisanji, a lot of the time they'll have sort of settings or whatever that they'll have for their talents and all that. And most of their talents tend to um really play up that sort of setting. Like, for example, Niji-sanji's Roa, she's supposed to be a demon, and she really plays into that. But as far as the EN VTuber scene is, since we're not really tied to companies, we're not we're indie, right? And I wonder if this will get if I would make people angry with saying this, but in the way that we're VTubers is not particularly the same as Hololive VTubers or Nijisanji VTubers, because it's not because of the company, but because of the company, they do have more stricter rules. They have more things that they have to follow, they have a little bit less leniency than we do. So
yes, the corporate versus indie sort of argument, I
mhm,
suppose.
yeah. So if anyone in like our neck of the woods breaks their character or whatever, it's not too big of a deal. But for a company VTuber, if they break their character and then it'll kill the immersion, and then that's something I imagine they don't take too kindly to, because they really want to. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans, but they really want to push, like, not the person behind the avatar. Essentially, they really want that character to be what people are supporting, right?
They're pushing a dream, rather, or more an
Yeah,
image,
yeah.
essentially.
So as far as like our scene is the Indian VTuber scene and all that, I don't think setting is too important, because a lot of the time, especially with almost everyone that I interact with in this community, they'll have a setting, but they don't particularly play up with it. If anything, it's there uh as flair, I guess, right? It's just extra flavor text, I guess would be one way to put it. Because I know for me, I have my setting and all that, but it's not something that I really play into, because I am a ninja as far as my setting goes, and that's supposed to be, the mysterious, cool, edgy kind of thing, but I'm definitely not.
Let's see, for me,
Yeah.
outside looking in, I'd say the way your setting ends up playing off instead is anytime you do end up greeting someone that follows you, etc., you're like, welcome to the Yasengumi, blah blah, welcome to the hideout, etc. And in
Mm,
some cases, it does actually feel like, oh, I've stumbled across some part of the net which has been undiscovered until now. And there's this chill
mm.
little group here with this chill guy just streaming here. That's the main impression I got when I ended up tuning in on your streams.
Mm,
Like, yeah, it's a nice little hideaway, essentially.
yeah.
So in a
That makes me
sense,
happy to hear then.
yeah, in a sense, it's more so you've committed to your theme in abstract, is the way I'd put it,
Mm,
rather
mm,
than like having to explicitly remind people every single time I'm a ninja or every time that you've got this
mm.
kind of character behind you. So
Yeah.
in your case, it does feel a lot more natural, if you will.
Mm, mm. I guess in the end, it's an aesthetic that I'm trying to chase after, in a way. I'm not sure.
Chasing after
But
an
yeah.
aesthetic's not a bad thing, I'd say.
Mm,
Like, even myself, I went with a bar. Why? Because it's easy to just shut things off and leave it to whatever conversation.
mm,
Because whatever is said at a bar counter kind of stays at a bar counter, and it's the kind of feeling I wanted to go for.
mm. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, right? Because in a bar, right? At least I've never been, so I wouldn't know. But as far as movies go, you always get those scenes where someone's talking to the bartender and they're spewing their heart out and all stuff. So I don't know. I think it fits.
Hmm. Let's see.
Mm.
Apart from the ninja sort of aesthetic, were there any other sort of concepts that you cycled through, took a look at, or considered?
Mm. So there were two. Well, mainly one over the other, but it one of the ideas that did come up in my head only briefly though was a hero sort of thematic, but I
Oh,
never really gave that one much thought at all. It just popped into my head at one point, but I decided no immediately and just put that one aside.
uh, hmm.
Mm. And then the other one was a more theater thematic.
Theater. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I didn't I didn't have a design in mind at the time. But it was mainly because uh in my years in high school, at least, rather than musical arts or visual arts, I spent a lot of time doing dramatic arts. And
Oh,
I took a lot of classes towards that. So doing something more theater centric felt natural to me, I guess. It felt like home, kind of.
oh, okay.
Though in the end, I did end up going with the ninja one because I just really like the aesthetic.
Theater, I'd say, is a very interesting, unexplored kind of area. Like, there's all the
Mm,
classics and everything. When someone says theater, you maybe think, what, Phantom of the Opera or any kind of stage play, essentially.
hmm
But
Yeah, and
yeah,
there's a lot of ideas that I had as far as like, um, how do I explain it? Uh, sort of things like overlay or transitions or whatever. There's the typical sort of things where it's like transition from scene to scene. It can be the closing of the curtains and stuff like that. And then if I ever, not that I thought of it back then, but then if I ever um, had a karaoke stream or something, I could always have a stage backdrop and everything because it would work thematically then.
hmm.
So,
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to tie, well, literal performance into, well, doing a performance,
hmm
you know?
yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the day, right, that's kind of what we're doing. We're putting on a show because we're still entertainers
Yeah,
at the end of the day, right? We're just
nonetheless, it's,
not,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
we're
creative
just
work,
really,
nonetheless.
yeah.
Let's say, it's
Sorry,
stack.
I think I'm just gonna drink real quick.
Alright.
Mm.
But yeah, if I were to stack a curveball on top of a curveball, how do you feel about the whole Callie matter with just the song that was released?
With her song,
Because
Off With Their
yeah,
Heads.
I know when it first came out, you dropped quite a bit on Twitter. But
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
did. Cause, mm, hopefully I don't anger anyone with anything I say, but
I mean,
in
shoot.
my eyes, she has a point, right? Cause there's, um, cause at the end of the day, what we are trying to do as VTubers, much like any other streamer, we are trying to be an entertainer. We are trying to appeal to other people and convince them to support us, right? That's what it comes down to in the end. And obviously, there's like varying levels how much you want people to support you. You could be doing it casually more for the fun, or you could be actively trying to reach a large goal and generate a big following, whatever. But there are people who will take it lightly, I guess. Which isn't to say that's too much of a bad thing if you just want to, have fun and all that. But there are some people who are taking it too lightly, I guess, in that they it doesn't seem like they're actually putting anything out or giving people a reason to support them. And there's the line that triggered everyone in Callie's song where it's like, start creating, stop tweeting.
Yeah, there's just one
And
single line there.
it's that line
Yeah,
that
it
really
is.
started getting people to raise pitchforks at her and all that. And it's because it's not wrong, right? Because you can tweet all you want and then be confused like, oh, why are people not following me? Why am I not getting popular? It's because you're not giving them a reason to, right? You're not. It's like if I was a merchant, right? I like put a bunch of pictures of stuff on the table. I'm like, okay, now buy something. They're not able to actually look at anything except for the pictures that I've laid out for them. And I'm still expecting them to want to buy something, right? They don't really know what they're after or what they're going to be getting.
Oh, that makes sense
If
as
that
an
makes sense.
analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a merchant that can't prove their worth is fairly useless, in the same case that a VTuber that can't showcase their content doesn't really have worth, so to speak.
And it's not to say that like people who are tweeting a lot should stop. That's what a lot of people, I feel a lot of people were misunderstanding, is that Callie is telling them to just leave. Which, at least in my interpretation of it, right? That's not what she's trying to say. She's trying to motivate them, is how I took it. It's her telling them that if you really want to see results, then, like she says in the song, you need to be prepared to put in the effort, to stay up late those nights to work on things, to better your craft and all that. So even if you're, for example, waiting on a model, waiting for assets or whatever, or you're not able to stream at the moment, draw something, record yourself singing something, even if it's not like the Mona Lisa, or you're not a next level singer or anything, right? At least you're giving you're giving people something, right? You're giving them something to give them a reason to want to support you, aside from just words that can be empty for all we know.
Yeah, just having words kind of falls flat in today's society. Like, if I were to put myself, or if I were to say a bit about myself, I'm a writer by trade. And as a writer, you don't get very popular anywhere besides writing circles. But at the same time, you have to write.
Yeah.
It's kind of the expectation, because you're a writer. What else do you do? Then you're a VTuber. What should you be doing? Is the thing. And
because
by default, it should not just be tweeting.
Yeah. Because VTuber, like the name itself, right? It's supposed to be virtual YouTuber, right? Someone who's creating content on YouTube with the use of a virtual avatar as opposed to a webcam or anything. So at the end of the day, we're still content creators. So we should be making content.
Yep.
Not just, tweeting about things that we could do but never actually following through.
Because as you said earlier, potentially empty promises in comparison. Because where else do you build your reputation than by actually doing something? Because Yasen, in your case, initially when you contacted me, I was like, wait, someone actually went ahead and contacted me. What the heck? I've got functionally nothing up, but okay, sure, I'll roll with it.
Yeah.
So I looked into you and I was like, oh, this guy's a cover-up. Oh, wait, that's immediately a lot more interesting than quite a few other people I've looked over. And I was like, oh, okay, I can work with this.
Yeah. That cover, not gonna lie, originally I didn't have anything planned to do at all with singing. As far as like VTubing went, like aside from, just occasionally if I'm playing a game, I'll randomly start singing along to something or whatever. And the only reason I put out that cover was because someone in the community, Usami, convinced me to.
Oh, okay.
She was very, very persistent about it, and I ended up just agreeing to do it because partially to get her to stop, but at the same time it was because someone was going through those efforts to support me and they believed in my ability to do so. So I didn't want to put that to waste, is what it was.
Fair enough. Because personally, I'm an advocate for anyone who can sing pretty damn well. Because singing is something that you throw the effort in, you are going to see results.
Definitely, yeah.
Naturally, anyone can carry a tune, but if you can learn to control how good of a tune that you can carry, then you can go much, much further. It's not just a case of you have a talent for it or you don't. Everyone kind of has the ability to do so. It's just with varying degrees of effort.
Yeah. Actually, that reminds me of something in regards to the Callie situation as well. how there were people who were, because she mentioned it in her lyric as well, how people would say she's only where she's at because of the company. And that's something
yeah.
that really bothered me,
Hmm.
because what a lot of people don't seem to understand for some reason is that there were auditions for Hololive EN, and a lot of people auditioned for that. I obviously I don't know exact numbers, but there were hundreds, if not in the thousands, of people who auditioned for that. I'm absolutely certain. And she was chosen for that, right? Which means there was something that she showed them, which is important because she had something to show. She had effort that she put in that told them, she deserves to be there, which is, I don't want to go exposing pasts and all that and whatever, but she she put so much effort into songs that she's done before and composed herself, wrote the lyrics for and everything. So she earned her spot there by showing what kind of content she could provide.
Yeah, like I'll say she had a very strong foundation, and it
Yeah.
shows because
Mm-hmm.
the moment she
And
debuted, it was at first it was kind of a shit show, but then suddenly everything turned around in the second half, and it was like, wait,
oh
this
yeah,
person's insane. All of a sudden,
when
yeah,
she her song when it played, like my jaw actually dropped because I was not expecting that at all.
yeah. In the circles I was running around in at the time, it was like, wait, that's wow, okay, that's not
And
something you
it was
expect.
so good, yeah.
Because,
Yeah, so
yeah,
like
it was definitely something that
mm.
only an EN VTuber could pull off, per se. So it was definitely something like, wow, that really just shows up, or shows everyone up. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, damn, okay. Because I was
Yeah.
half paying attention to the debut up until that point. Then she was like, oh, I want to sing a bit of a song. And then all of a sudden, oh god, it's that kind of song, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that the people who are complaining about her recent song and all that just don't understand the kind of things that is, because streaming isn't easy, right?
Oh,
And
no, it
I
definitely is not.
because especially as you were a radio host, so I figure you can understand, like, it's not, because if you look at it from the outside, right, it just seems like anyone can do, like, oh, you know what, I'll throw up a game on stream and then I'll just play the game and talk and whatever, it'll be easy peasy just like that. But there's so much more things in the background that people don't realize is something that you have to deal with.
Yeah, one of the things people kind of discount is pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, especially in the VTuber community, it feels like they've tried to simplify it down to just a few elements, and then suddenly you're a VTuber if you manage to accomplish these. Simply being,
Mm-hmm.
oh, do you have a model? Oh, do you have some overlays? Oh, do you have a BGM? Or do you have this and that? And oh, suddenly you're a VTuber. Unfortunately, it's not quite that simple,
Mm-hmm.
because to even get to that point, you need to know who you have to contact, who's
Yeah, because
reliable enough to do the work. Like, yeah.
you need artists, you need someone to rig the model, you need, if you're doing BGM, someone to compose the BGM. You need to make sure your computer is capable of whatever it is you're doing. If your mic has good quality and stuff like that, right? And then even just saying that, right? But then there's all the money that is involved with
Oh,
it.
yeah, definitely. Because VTubing ain't cheap. Not by any
It
stretch.
definitely is not, no.
Because it's like, even streaming is just cheaper to set up than setting yourself up to be a VTuber. You can
Yeah, because
discount yourself the entire model cost and everything in
mm-hmm.
comparison. But at the
Yeah,
same
that's
time, you want it to be good. You want it to have good flavor. You need a strong vision
mm-hmm.
to start off. And that's where I'd say a lot of people fall flat, is just they have the vision, but they can't execute upon it, per se.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who gets past the starting line and falls after that, perhaps they weren't quite ready for the responsibilities that
Yeah.
they just suddenly took up.
And I feel like there's a lot of people who, especially related to this, right? There's a lot of people who will see VTubing and be like, "Oh, I want to do that. I'll have fun doing that and all that." And then, but they've never had experience with even just regular streaming before. And that's something that, like, if I had to tell someone who's looking into VTubing, before you even consider the model, before you even consider design, just try out regular streaming first. Because you don't want to, because VTubing is an investment, right? With the model and all that, because those are expensive.
Yep.
But
oh, damn, they really are.
if you get all of that and then find out afterwards that you don't even like streaming, then you've just wasted hundreds to thousands of dollars for nothing.
Like you have
And
you have to be one really bold bastard to drop that much without any consideration. It's just kind of insane, some of the people in this community, I'd say, when all of a sudden they show up out of nowhere, no past history of streaming, nothing to their name, and they're just like, oh yeah, I dropped all this money for this model and this rig. And it's like, it honestly scares me, because I'm someone who comes from radio, and the only thing you transmit over radio is your voice. And the first time I was ever on a show, I was really calm, really collected, and just got through it. Then afterwards, I was told how many people were actually listening in, and I just shit my pants. Because the scale of it is just, not what you initially expect. Because you're thinking, oh, there can't be that many people just driving home in the afternoon with the radio turned on, can there? And then you get told it was over 200k people listening, and you're just like, oh shit.
I mean, I say all that, right? But I did stream before this.
Oh, okay.
But I had only streamed for a month tops. So I didn't. So I am one of the crazies who did that.
I mean, I've been on.
But I mean,
I've been on radio for at best half a year before things went to hell, and I had to just go like, okay, maybe I can't quite continue this anymore. So I had to unfortunately drop it. And that's when I found this kind of community and was like, I mean, it'd be a shame if I put the rest of my skills to waste, so I'll throw it somewhere. But yeah, so you were one of those madmen too.
Yeah. But I mean, in my defense, right? Mine, admittedly, my model, my rigging aren't as expensive as everyone else's are. I only paid a few hundred maximum, like max $400 for my art and rigging. But that's because for the live 2D art, it was a friend of mine who I had known for at the time like 8 years already, and they had never done art for live 2D before, because there's so much layers and everything, so neither of us really knew how that worked, and we were looking it up. So it was really it was their first time doing something like that. They didn't know how to price it or anything like that. So comparatively to how most people's prices are for live 2D art, it was really, really low. And then for my rigging, it was done by Zeno, and I was actually the first, aside from his own, I believe, I was the first other person that he's rigged for before. So his was also kind of in a sort of learning trial phase, so it was cheap for me as well.
It's fair enough. Like, you've dabbled a bit in it yourself, after all, with the whole sticks and matter.
Yeah, because originally I was supposed to rig my own model, but
okay.
Which I did at first, but it wasn't particularly great or anything. It's the kind of rigging that I did with the model originally was the same as how it is now with the stick model. So I get the sideways movement and kind of up and down movement and the mouth movement, but aside from that, I'm not able to, like, I wasn't able to figure out how to make physics work with the hair or the scarf or anything like that, or how to get like the face to actually turn or anything. And maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places too, but it was also hard to find a nice and simple tutorial.
Yeah, because Live 2D was when I looked into it a while back, it
It's
was a
it was still
very
really new. Yeah.
There was no one who had a concrete sort of tutorial out there, or just
Mm-hmm.
be all end all. This is how you rig something. It was an
Mm-hmm.
art you kind of had to experiment with and learn yourself. Because I
Mm-hmm.
watched a couple of friends learn it themselves and just get stuff off the ground. Because,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there was an artist friend who had gotten into streaming to cover some extra costs here and there
Mm-hmm.
and just have some fun while he was at it. And then he went into Live 2D art and rigging at the same time. And these days, he probably comes off as one of the better riggers out there, which is funny to say. Then there was another friend who was 100% self-produced, and when I saw that, I was like, "Wait, you're insane!" And
Yeah,
then,
man.
yeah,
People who draw and rig their own models, I have so much respect for, because I tried to figure out how, like, even putting aside the art, because I know the art, there's like hundreds of layers that go in, and if you want it to look better, then that means there's going to be more layers.
yeah,
That means more effort. And then the more layers there are, that also means more things for you to rig. And then rigging on its own is such a confusing process. So people who do it themselves, you have my respect, but also you're insane.
yeah. People just have some crazy skill sets out there. Like, let's see, I think we had like Zal in the chat earlier, and that guy was someone who's an all-rounder and just went ahead, own model, own rigging, and I was like, wow, okay, this
Oh my god.
guy's insane too. This thing,
Mm.
because yeah, when you meet people which are 100% self-produced, it's not a case of they just waved their wallet and said and left
Yeah,
a few
'cause
demands. It was they went in depth and they tried to do everything themselves.
Yeah, and that I have a lot of respect for the people who are able to do that and have the motivation to do that, because like even with my model, it doesn't have as much layers as most other models do. But even then, it's still a lot of layers, and part of me feels really bad for getting my friend to do all that effort.
Yeah. But it's a learning experience at that point, because hey, everyone's got to start somewhere. Because there was a point where for a certain bunch, I had to help look for a rigger, and oh boy, seeing how many people that were trying to strike out there was just like, oh man, you're spoiled for choice, but you're not sure if any of them actually are worth going for. Then like, it's such a new art, there's no gold standard. Like you might point your finger and say, oh, HoloLive is the gold standard, but then again, those cost several times more than you're ever expecting. And you see people which lowball their rigging very low, and then you see people which bulk up their rigging quite a lot as well. Yeah, it's getting into this sort of community or this sort of streaming is just like, it's an insane process with a lot of pre-production, which people just don't really account for. It's just they think you go straight in, but nah. Could be months even before you see anything resembling kind of setup. But at the same time, though, why should that stop you?
Yeah, definitely. And like, because a lot of things would like, because it's VTubing is still a very, very new scene, even though it's been a few years now.
Yeah,
I think.
It's been
but it's still
relative.
It's still relatively new, so a lot of the prices are like, there's a lot of ones that are really high, there's a lot of ones that are really low, so it's hard to really tell, right, which one you should go for or which one you want to go. And everyone has like different designs, as far as even just like, not even just the art styles for the models, but different ways people rig things and what sort of things they add into it and all that. So it's like you have a lot of choices, and that makes it kind of hard, I guess, to know who you want to trust for what is essentially going to be you, right?
Yeah, like, let's say, have you heard this before? How sometimes the VTubing community is at times likened to, let's say, the role-playing community from way back when. Have you heard that before?
I've heard it on and off here and there, yeah.
Because, yeah, it's also the thought that, oh, OC, don't steal, so here's my design, please draw this design and make it come to life. Kind of affair. And then, yeah, it is functionally your self-insert, so...
I mean, yeah, at the, like, that's kind of what it really is what it is, right? We're giving the character designs that we all choose are really just, you know, in a way, sort of like just what we want to be, right? If we were an anime character, I guess.
I've heard it before,
But yeah.
that particular statement from Blue, for instance, because when I asked him about what he wanted to do when VTubing, he was just like, I want to be anime. I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I mean, everyone has their own goals.
Yeah. It's just whether you carry through with those goals or not in the end.
It's not like there's a right or wrong reason to start. It's just, you know, what do you do to get there? And, you know, what do you do along the way that will either make it easier for yourself or harder for yourself?
So what would you consider your own goal then from here on out? What are you aiming to get done?
When I had like started even just planning it, right? When I even entertained the idea of becoming a VTuber, I never really had big goals or anything. Because I know some people like, oh, they want to be able to eventually get into Nijisanji or Hololive, or some other people, you know, they just want to coast along and vibe at their own pace and all that. And I didn't really have a specific goal. Mine was really, really vague. Because there was a... I suppose we'll answer the hero question too. Yeah. Because there was a VTuber who is now retired that I never actually got to watch live. I had found out about them a month after they had retired already.
Oh.
And that VTuber was Minamori Hiro.
Oh, okay. Now that is...
You know of her?
That's a name I didn't expect to actually hear as a thing.
Yeah, because I only ended up finding out about her because of a translated clip of a sleepover with her and Matsuri.
Oh.
And then, yeah, I'm assuming you know of the clip.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if you actually do, but and I found out about Hiro because of that, and I went to her channel so I could be like, oh, you know what, I'll watch her live and whatever. And then I found out she actually retired already, and I don't know, that was really sad for me. But I watched some of her VODs, and I really liked the kind of energy that she brought, but at the same time, she sort of created this atmosphere with her community where it felt really, even if it wasn't live for me and I wasn't there to actually experience it, it felt really welcoming and comforting to watch her videos, even just looking at the comments for the VODs and seeing how much people really loved her and appreciated her content and all that. It made me think, like, if I was able to actually become a VTuber, that's the kind of thing I wanted to do. I wanted to create a place for people to just come by, have a good time, relax, unwind after a long day, whatever have you, and just, you know, enjoy themselves and just relax. Just a welcoming place, a welcoming community. That was my goal for the longest time leading up to VTubing, and then even as I started VTubing, that was my goal for a majority of the time. I didn't really have big goals. I didn't mind if I got big or famous or whatever. I just wanted to sort of create that space with my channel so that people can come by and just relax.
Yep.
And then
I see
and
what
then
you meant
with
by hero then. Yeah.
I mean, it was really on the nose.
Yeah.
With that one. But yeah, I mean, that was her name, but at the same time, I really did feel like she suited the name really, really well. That she suited the name of a hero very well. And I say that I didn't really have the goal to get big or to do anything big or anything like that, but actually with Calliope's song and all that, I actually started feeling a lot more motivated to, I guess, do something more than what I've just been doing, because I feel like as of recent, I've only just been coasting along, kind of.
Okay.
So I actually want to go out and do more things.
Let's say, so regarding those more things, what kind of plans did you have then? Because you did mention at some point that you had something in mind. Something big in mind.
So, yeah. So I won't go too much into the biggest part of it, because I do kind of want it to be a surprise.
Of course. Go
on. But what I will say is that it is a... Being the theater nerd that I am, at the end of that twit longer, I called it my act 2. Because... yeah. Because it is a... Because rather than starting everything over from scratch, I wanted it to be more like a change in the story, right? Moving from one part of it to the next, a progression of sorts. So what I'm getting at with that is that I am planning on doing a redesign, I guess, and taking a look at what I've done up to this point and trying to essentially develop and upgrade, I guess.
Oh, okay.
As for exactly what that will entail, aside from money, I won't go into that detail because I want that part to be a surprise.
Alright.
But yeah, I want to also be able to expand my horizons, I guess. I want to try and... Because this is something that I had as a New Year's goal too. I wanted to reach out to people more and talk to people more. I wanted to push my limits and go outside my comfort zone. So if possible, I want to do more covers. I want to try different kinds of streams. Like I know how one of the things I did before as a subathon thing was I had a date stream, and I thought that was really fun. And it's not the typical kind of stream, so I want to figure out other ways I can do. Yeah, I want to see if there's other ways I can do something along those lines. But at the same time, I want to keep how do I say it, a comfiness around my stream as well, and not make it too chaotic. So I also want to try I guess doing ASMR streams at some point, or
yeah, that one was an interesting one. I saw, I was like, wait, this man's doing ASMR now.
Yeah, I'm working with baby setup for that, or really scuff setup for that, because I don't have a binaural mic or anything.
Yeah,
I'm just messing around with OBS settings.
Because yeah, when I listened in, I was like, oh man, this man's actually panning his audio. Oh no.
I wish I could. I wish I could have a binaural mic, but that is a lot of money.
Yeah, that is an awful lot to get started.
I looked at how much that costs, and Man, that's a lot of hundreds.
Yeah, sure is. Like, you can achieve a lot with software, but then when you've got the hardware, oh boy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, dream goal, one day, maybe.
One day, perhaps.
But yeah. And I don't really know what else I want to do. I want to draw more. I just want to do a lot more than just what I've essentially settled with so far. Because as it is right now, a lot of the time it's, well, almost all the time, it's mostly just playing games in some way. But I also want to be able to do like, because I'm not confident in my ability to hold a conversation on my own, at least. So I want to try having more streams where I'm just talking with chat or anything, because something that I'm really inspired by is, well, these sort of interviews that the one like how you have, how Domo has, I know Laprio's doing it as well, and some other people, their ability to continue a conversation, I guess. And that's something I'm not particularly confident in, but I want to get better at, so.
I'll say there's lots of ways of getting better at holding conversation. For me, it's I took a very dodgy route, which is just every time there's an opportunity, tell a story, essentially. Because yeah, you've probably noticed by now the random number of tangents I've gone off on, which have just been, if I have a story relating to this and it's quick enough to tell, then by all means, shoot it. But if it's something like a very, very long form story, then yeah, the ones I've got for that kind of stuff take upwards of 2 to 3 hours to tell, and they're pretty ridiculous in their payoff. But yeah, because there's one about going on patrol for like 9 hours during a gay pride parade where everyone's drunk off their rocker, and it feels more like a World War II war zone instead. There's another one where I treated someone on a train for a stabbing, and that was quite something as well. Because yeah, there's when you go outside, when you go out in the world, there are many stories you can bring back, and when it comes to that, you have your own stories to tell. You know, when you're talking with chat, if someone brings up something, you have something to fall back on, and you're not always just put on the spot. It's kind of that planning, if you will. Because I know there are certain other talents which do roughly the same thing. Because let's say Tsubaru, for instance, it's claimed that she just writes down everything interesting that happens to her in a given day. That when she's stuck sitting down and just talking to her audience for the hour or two that she's Atsudan's, then suddenly she has all these stories to draw from. But yeah, stories are one way. The other is perhaps something that's a bit more familiar for someone in theater, and that's improvisation. Improvisation is a maddening skill, but I bloody love it, because I was a theater kid too. It's... yeah. You can see why I went into the more creative side of things, but yeah. Theater is fun, and one of the things I had to do a lot was I had to patch up whenever someone stuffed a line or two. Because while I did theater, we weren't the most competent troupe, per se. So you always need someone to play that kind of medic role, if you will.
Yeah.
So whenever someone failed a line or just flubbed a line or something, I'd come up with something very quick, patch it into the scene, and then drag the scene back on course. And that was another skill that I made sure to implement throughout all of these kinds of times on radio, kinds of interviews, and just go with, hey, if something goes wrong, pull it back on track somehow.
That makes sense, right? And that's honestly like, that's a really, really powerful skill to have too, especially in like these sort of things that we do where it's really just our voice, Yeah,
because at the end of the day, they see maybe your model's movement, they hear your voice, and then they see your actions on screen. So in a sense, you're pulling off a show just without half the elements that usually come with the show. You don't exactly have to, you know, wave your hands around in exaggerated gestures, which is still a habit I can't shake to this day. So at times people see me
definitely
doing
for me too,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you do some very overblown looking stuff because you know, oh, that guy in the back of the room needs to be able to see this too.
Yeah. Definitely something that comes with being theater.
Yep, it's
You
one of
just
those
get
little
used
things.
to it.
Yeah, you do get used to it. One of the things I've probably lost when it comes to theater though is being able to project my voice by a certain amount. Because I used to be able to easily hit the back of a room or a concert hall or anything and just be like, bam, okay, I've got the voice for this. I got the lungs to pull that off. Nowadays it's like, please give me a mic. Please just like give me a lap on or just anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, let's say I'm gonna go over perhaps another slight curveball that someone went ahead and asked. So you did write a letter to yourself in the future, but what if you were to do the opposite? What if you were to say something to yourself back then, pre-debut?
Man, I didn't even remember making that post or that's scheduling that tweet, to be honest. So when that posted and I read it, I cried.
Yeah. When I saw it first time, I was like, "This is a letter song. Good God, this is a letter song."
I love that song so much.
Yeah.
I did end up posting a thing with that
Yeah, I
because
saw it. I was
it
like, "Damn it, he actually did it."
I love that song so much because after that tweet ended up going up, I was like, because I couldn't remember the name of the song, so I was searching for it, and then a couple days I finally remembered it, and then I looked it up, and then I got super emotional because of it. So something I have to say to myself back then. Honestly, if I had to say something to myself back then, just stop being so scared of everyone. Stop thinking that everyone is just leagues and leagues ahead of you and just always better than you and all of that. Because going into the community, I know Akagi Hiro will know where I'm getting at when I say this, but going into the community and all that, the way I put it back then was that seeing all these names and people interacting with each other, I saw them as like the popular kids. They sit at the popular kids table. I'm not allowed there, kind of thing. So like, I would admire them from afar and support them from afar, but I would never feel actually comfortable getting close to them.
Hiro says that he'll break the popular kids table.
Yeah, because I know this is something he got really mad at me about for thinking that way. And something that he said that really stuck with me is that most, if not all of the people that I labeled as one of the popular kids never really thought of themselves as one of those popular kids. They're just doing their own thing, having a good time on their own, just, vibing along as they do. So there's nothing really to be afraid of. And in all honesty, I'm still afraid of interacting with some people that I would consider part of the popular kids table, because that's still not something I've fully managed to get past yet. But a lot of the people that I considered part of the popular kids table back then are people that I'm close friends with now. So I'm very thankful to them for allowing me to have that kind of chance.
Hey, you've managed to get your way up there. It's interesting to think about that there will be those people that you just think, wow, they're so out of reach. And you just give it a shot. You're like, oh, why not? What could go wrong? I can just send a message, maybe never get one back. So what's left? That's it.
Yeah.
There's not that much.
So I mean, worst case scenario, right? They don't respond, and it's all right. It is what it is. So yeah, it's mm,
it's not so bad a thing to reach out to someone who's like that many leagues ahead of you, or it's just
mhm,
get over that kind of bit of just I'm tiny. There's no reason to reach out because
mhm,
that's it. For me personally, once you've seen what's at the top and then you come back down, it's just like, I mean, the top's not that much different, so you know,
mm.
you can just work your way up.
Yeah, just take your time and, things will go as they will. Mhm. Yeah, that's definitely something I would tell my past self to not be so stressed up over. 'Cause, man, did that stress me out. I was just so terrified of, like, everyone. 'Cause, like, even the first, few people I got to know in the community, I still felt really awkward around them.
uh,
'Cause I was just assuming that everyone was just that much better than me at all times.
yeah, I know that kind of feeling. Just like you've just gotten into something and then everyone else is that much further than you. It's just, where do I begin? Essentially.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah,
But yeah.
it's interesting to see where eventually you end up if you just stay around long enough.
Mhm.
Because in my case, I was probably riding the coattails of a couple of people and just happened to end up in the right place at the right time with certain others,
Mm.
which was.
I definitely feel like that was my case a lot of the time too.
Hey, luck
'Cause
is luck is a skill of sorts, I suppose.
'cause I definitely feel like I was lucky with the people I ended up interacting with because even after my debut, actually even now that I think about it, any of the collabs I've done, I don't think I've ever been the person to initiate them.
Oh, oh my.
Except actually no, that's a lie, because this
Yeah,
one
this
might
one
actually be the
you.
first one. I think this is actually the first one that I went and asked about.
Oh
Other than
man.
that, it's always been someone asking me.
Oh, I'll say good job.
It all starts somewhere.
Yeah, it all starts somewhere. And hey,
Mm,
here you are.
mm,
But yeah, being able to initiate is just another skill in itself, and it's one you can develop as well.
mm,
Yeah, myself even, if it's someone I think is just within reach or just, might flash even just the moment of attention, I'll be like, flip a coin, grab, alright, give it a shot.
mm.
See where it goes.
Yeah. There's still, like, a lot of people I would like to interact more with, but I am terrified to do so. Because there's a lot of people that I look up to in this community. It's just, man, old habits really do die hard.
Yep, sure do. Yeah, even now I'm still doing bloody gestures as I'm speaking, which is something I was called out for on radio as well. Because the other radio hosts were like, no one can see you, you know? You can just sit there. For all they could care, you could just be sitting there in your underwear, sweating your ass off
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of some random studio. No one can see you.
Mm-hmm.
So instead,
I mean,
yeah, I'm just
mm-hmm.
pulling all these gestures while speaking anyway, and it's just a force
Yeah.
of habit.
Yeah. It's just one of those things, right? Like, even when I'm talking, I'll do hand gestures and just speak with my hands as well, and it's just,
And it's that feeling that you can just communicate so much more if you've got just a bit of visual attached to it.
mm-hmm.
Because part of
Mm-hmm.
language is giving yourself that context, then your
Yeah.
actions give that context as well.
Because body language really does say a lot.
Hmm.
Like those subtle movements and like just your positioning in general, all of that says a lot.
Would you say that lends more importance onto, say, a model for VTubing? They compare someone who's just a PNG on screen to someone who's kind of like animated and moving around.
Mm, if hmm, if I had to say, I mm, I think Yes, in my opinion, I think yes. Because seeing the model move as opposed to just... there's nothing wrong with just using a PNG. Seeing the... I mean, we're even using PNGs right now. You asked me if I wanted to show my model here, but I'm lazy as hell.
Fair enough.
But I do think that there is a lot more that the audience gets when there's an actual moving model, because obviously there's like limits as to what you can do. There, you can't always like do hand gestures or full body language movements and that. But being able to see the model move really does help in reminding the viewers that this is a person, right? It's not just a character.
Yes, that there's something more to this than just a little doodle on the screen, I guess, is the way one could put it.
Yeah, which again there's nothing wrong with
nothing particularly wrong
the
with
PNG.
it.
Yeah, it's just it adds a bit more to the experience.
Like, yeah, it is its own form of acting and its own craft, really, because there are some cases where motion tracking or face tracking is a bit of an art in itself. Because yeah, one interesting one that you find out very quickly is if you wear certain kinds of glasses whilst trying to get your face tracked, at times face tracking software will go berserk.
Yeah, it doesn't. A lot of them don't like it.
Yeah,
I haven't had issues with mine, but then again, with VTube Studio, because I have an Android, I don't have an iPhone, so there's a lot less that it's actually tracking anyways.
Fair enough.
So that it's like any blinking that my model does or whatever, it's just set to auto blink, so it's not actually tracking my eyes in any way.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, there's Android face recognition just isn't as good.
In my case, my glasses have a certain kind of polarized tint on them, just so that if I stare at a screen for too long, I don't get too much of a
it's
problem.
the blue light filter, right?
Yeah, that can tend to mess with the face tracking as well, and you lose any capability around your eyes and around certain other parts of your face. That's like,
I imagine certain programs just wouldn't like that at all.
Yeah, at the same time, there's also the matter of like setting up your mic in such a way that it doesn't necessarily interfere with the face tracking itself as well. In my case, if I ever get around to that, it'll be something quite miserable, because I just have mine set up like how I would do radio, which would just be mic is...
Oh, it's just right in front of you?
Yeah, mic is right in front of me, pop filter right in front of me, and just emphasis on getting the best audio quality or best pickup, essentially.
Yeah.
Instead of more so considering the more streaming aspect of things. Because I'm using a dynamic mic right now, so the only thing that picks up is directly from the front. And it's also very much the case you have to be within this very specific pickup zone, or else it just completely fades off. So for instance, if I go berserk typing, like right now, you can't hear anything, because from behind there's zero pickup. But yeah, just specifically from this one direction, it picks up a lot. And while this thing is really good for like karaoke stuff, it's not necessarily the best if you wanted to get your face tracked at the same time.
Yeah, I imagine that's just gonna get in the way.
Yeah, I mean, I have a condenser mic as well that I can just throw up instead, and that requires a lot less room per se, and is a lot more sensitive, so I can just leave it to the side. But yeah, it's these kinds of considerations with audio, which some people don't quite make either, so it's a bit,
Yeah. Because, like, it's not like it's particularly necessary to have those, like, super high-end mics and all that.
Yeah.
But first impression is important, right?
Yep.
And if you have a mic that is just all staticky, or if you're... it's like, I don't want to judge people's aesthetic with their models, right? But it's something that will come up, right? Because it's really with that first impression, right? If people see something, they'll stay if they think it looks good. and then they'll stay if they like. They'll stay longer if you're for the personality afterwards. But it's always it's always those first things that they hear, the mic quality, or they see the model, right?
Yeah, it's very much the first impression where it's like, oh yeah, is this person's voice something that you can listen to for an extended duration of time? Or is this person's model going to drive you crazy because their movements look unnatural as hell? Or whatnot.
Yeah. It's like I know for myself, for the longest while, up until like the start of this year, I only used a headset mic.
Oh.
Yeah, and what was carrying me was the NVIDIA broadcast filter. So it would just get rid of all background noise. And people would ask me like, "Oh, you have such a good mic. What is that?" And I just have a headset mic. It's not the mic. Trust me, it's not.
It's software in that case. But
yeah.
Because, yeah, I've heard about RTX voice and just the kind of capabilities it does have, which are, they can be really damn good, is the thing. At the same time, in my case, I'm running, well, I'm on the AMD branch of things, so everything's a lot more scuffed and a lot more manual customization, so myself, I've got to throw on all of the filters, adjust the EQ myself, etc., and see how things go. And, well, I don't have the most developed ear for audio engineering. It's one of the things I'm currently working on, if anything. So, yeah, it's interesting to see what you can get by with as a baseline. Because, yeah, if people considered your mic quality good, then, hey, you were able to get away with it.
Yeah. And yeah, I can definitely understand, like, how you were saying before, the mic getting in the way of tracking, because when I was setting this up, I originally thought to just put it from the front because I'm like, it'll pick up the audio best that way. And then I realized after setting it up, I don't have anywhere to put my phone in a place that works now. So I had to like take it off and then try and move stuff around so that the wire reached, and then figure out where I can put the mic and all that.
Yeah, just meet space, man. All the manual setup you gotta do. Because, yeah.
But I mean, it's nice in the end.
Yeah, it is quite nice in the end. Because you go through the effort of learning how each little tool in your arsenal works, and you're like, oh, okay, this little extra thing can get me just that bit of a leg up, if anything. Because, yeah, for instance, if you hadn't had any idea about any kind of filtering or noise gating, then perhaps you'd be hearing wind or whatever random background noise popping up.
Yeah, I'm definitely sure people would hear like the fan on my computer.
In my case, let's say earlier on, May, when I wasn't quite filtering things as much, it was a case of anytime one of my dogs decided to bark, all of a sudden you'd hear a very, very piercing bark just cut through all the sound, and I was like, I wish I could filter that out eventually. Oh, yes, I can filter this out. Good stuff. Because, yeah, my folks, if I'm not particularly bothered to say that, oh, I'm streaming at this particular time, please keep it down, there's the potential that it can be quite loud, so it's like, oh, yeah. Need to make my own studio, need to kind of create a sort of space for myself, and then after that, just apply whatever filtering, so yeah. I've just gone ahead and made that space, and a lot more productive, I guess. Because it's like, oh, I'm sitting here, therefore I should kind of do some work, or should get along with something or another.
Yeah. I know for myself, I tell whoever's in the house I'm streaming so that they don't come in and dox me. But then I also have like a really, really scuffed sign, which is really just me taking a marker, writing streaming on a piece of paper, and then taping it to my door, so.
That's one way of doing things. For myself, I think half my folks are probably rather pissed at me at this point, just at the fact that every Friday they suddenly hear someone doing a karaoke stream at this point. And it goes from like 9 p.m. to like 11 p.m. and it's like, oh god, can this guy please shut up? Or just, yeah. And at this point I've gotten to that little section where you just don't have any shame anymore, so you just sing anyway. Because yeah, it's I don't know. Being able to sing is just nice, I guess.
Yeah, it feels good, right? It's a good way to let things out, even if you're not like super great, awesome singer. You know, just being able to let it out like that is really nice.
Yeah, because people do undervalue the ability to just I don't know karaoke or just go somewhere, spout out whatever, shout at the top of your lungs. Why not? It's a physical activity.
And that's something I've been
yeah.
able to appreciate more lately. Yeah.
Yeah, nonetheless, it is training your body in being able to sing. But yeah, in future, if you wanted to cover anything specific, what would you go for?
Oh god, if I wanted to cover something specific. Ooh. That one is a curveball that I was definitely not prepared for. Because there's a lot of songs that I would like to sing, but I feel like if I really tried, I might be able to. But I want to think for this kind of question, a song that I really like, from the bottom of my heart would want to be able to sing. That one is hard. Cause like having this question thrown at me, I'm drawing blanks now. I think one that I would really want to cover is one of, it was Bao's original song, I believe, Hikaru Station.
Okay.
It was, I think it was, was it an original song? It might not have been an original song, maybe not, but it was 52 Hearts, and I just really liked how that song sounded.
Alright, fair enough. I personally haven't heard the song before, so I'll give it a listen later on, but yeah. As for myself, I think there was one song out there by some random indie rock band or some random indie J-rock band. The song was just called like Tsukishigure, so Lunar Drizzle, pretty much. The song itself is, I don't know, it struck a chord with me, so I was like, I'll sing this one day. Whenever I am bold enough to commission an instrumental for this song that practically no one has heard, and then just get it covered. Because yeah, the whole process of getting a cover out is a lot more momentous than people do expect. It's like,
because there's
yeah,
there's art for it or an animation if you want to go super ham with it. You have to go through all the efforts of recording it, and then there's mixing, tuning, timing.
Yep, it's just an entirely different world that people don't necessarily think of when they first hear it.
And I had one of my friends try to explain tuning to me, and it just went in one ear, not the other.
Tuning is maddening, is all I can say. Because especially if you try tuning your own voice, because when you tune your own voice, you're listening to your own voice getting like very much warped and stretched for a while until you play it back, and then you're like, oh, it's hit the frequency I wanted at. Now I've got to do this for every other beat. Because
I don't know if I could handle that.
Yeah, mixing is kind of the equivalent of musical Photoshop, essentially. It's the easiest way of relating it whilst not relating it at all, is the thing.
I don't think I've ever heard that before, but that makes a lot of sense to me.
Because yeah, you can, like, if you think of it, you can take a really nice photo, but what if you could enhance it? Same goes. You could sing some really nice vocals, but what if you can enhance it? Yeah, it's just that ability of just going and switching things up, or just... It's removing the need to take a million takes.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, some people call tuning or pitching, like, cheating. At the same time, though, it's like you really want to do it the manual way, where you take 500 takes and have to listen out on those 500 takes for the one which might be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you
I
could
mean,
just be, yeah.
If there's an easier way, then there's no, there's no shame in taking it.
Yeah, because the one most people point to as like horrifying cases of autotune is just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's different though. That's
When
different.
it goes like full berserk and you're just hearing a Vocaloid instead of a human, then you know, oh,
Yeah.
maybe they didn't hit within like that 80% accuracy range. Maybe they just missed, or they were picked for their looks, or that kind of stuff. But yeah, in which case, what's your opinion on like agencies or VTuber groups?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, right? Like, how do I say it? Because I know that I've auditioned for groups before. I've done a Hololive audition before. I did the My Holo TV audition. I didn't do the Niji Sanji one, but I've also done just some other VTuber groups in the community and all that. But, part of me actually doesn't want to be like, I think it would be cool and amazing and I'd be honored, right, to be accepted into like Niji Sanji or Hololive or whatever those big corporations are. But at the same time, I would be terrified if I actually did, because there's a lot of things that I get to do right now that I'm 100% certain I'd lose the ability to do by joining a company.
Fair enough. Like, do you think companies provide things of worth in return? Those kind of restrictions, though?
The way I see it, yes. Like, you lose out on a lot of your freedom to do everything that you want to, but at the same time, being part of a company opens up new doors, because while they don't, as far as I'm aware, they won't like go out of their way to, you know, commission an artist for your cover, or commission a mixer for your cover or stuff like that. But they give you the opportunity to contact people, and they give you connections, which I think is a powerful thing to be given.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the pre-existing companies like Hololive, Nijisanji, they have backing, right? They have that fame already. So just having your name be tied to them will give you attention, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a case of just brand name identity.
Which isn't to say that's all that the company talents are, just the brand name, but there is advantage to being part of it, right? Because you get connections, you have the floor, right? Is that the right way to put it?
Foundation, also.
Yeah, the foundation if you are with a company is you start off your starting point is farther down the line than an indie person would be.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, and like the indie people can always catch up. It's just you just have a head start. So
yeah, that more or less describes it. After all, like you look at anyone who debuts out of a company, they build up that base in a matter of weeks, where an indie would take years to get to that point. And like, sure, it can feel unfair to an extent, but at the same time, yeah, they got there somehow. Like, yeah, as you mentioned earlier, auditions.
Yeah.
God, are auditions rough? Because yeah,
they are terrifying.
You've been in theater before, yeah?
Oh god.
Yep. Man,
and like
I hated doing auditions.
And I don't know, I feel a lot more terrified with the kind of auditions for VTuber stuff, because I'm not as confident with just my voice than I am with being able to use my body to enhance that.
Because yeah, it does.
'Cause
It does feel like, as an actor, you are losing half your capabilities just by not being able to move around. So it's like, come on. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Man. But it's fun though. Like, as stressful as it is, it's fun. And I remember for the HoloLive audition, like, for the weeks after I submitted it, I like every day I'd be looking to see if the view count rose on the video. Like, did someone watch it? Did someone look at it? Man.
Yeah, there is always that anticipation where you know you've sent in something and you're like, I want to hear back. I want to know if I've done well or just if I got something back at all. And yeah, because for me these days it's that case with like random writing magazines where it's like, oh, I send in a short story or I send in a novella or something. And it's like, hey, did I get something decent? And sometimes they come back and they're like, yeah, you did do something decent. Unfortunately, someone might have done something better than you, so we'll get back to you eventually. But you make the impression, at the very least, that you went ahead and gave it your shot. And it's just that process of being able to learn from your failings, or just, if you didn't make it, what did you gain out of it? So say for the HoloLive audition, did you learn anything off of that, per se?
So they didn't send anything back, like, if you didn't move on to the next part or whatever. You just didn't get anything.
Okay.
Which I don't blame them entirely, because they probably had so many applicants. But at the very least, at least trying it, it gave me a lot more confidence in it gave me a lot more confidence, because the HoloLive auditions were before I debuted. So it gave me a lot of confidence going into VTubing, because I was able to say, you know what, I shot for something big, I didn't make it, but that doesn't mean I stopped trying, right? I can still at least try to make something for myself as an indie VTuber.
We do have an old Aussie saying about that. Let's say, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll land among the stars. Something like that. I don't know. I think some runner said that back way when Aussies were particularly good at running. But hey. Because yeah, it doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah, because at least I'll be able to get to say that I gave it a shot. Because, at least for me, I would rather regret taking the shot and failing than regret not even taking a first step, right?
Because yeah, when the opportunity presents itself, give it a shot.
Because like, I don't stand to lose anything by trying, right? If anything, I gain experience from the situation, and then that I can use that moving forward.
Yeah. Like, if you always just brood on your failures rather than seeing what you can do going forth, then yeah, there's nothing to learn just by continuously looking back. So hey, step up, move forwards.
Yeah, like, that's something I try my best to do a lot of the time. Like, if something bad happens, you know, I'll get sad, I'll cry, I'll be moody and whatever, but then I'll sleep, and then next day, that's it. We're fine. Just look forward, keep doing something, because if I the world does not care about me, I am but one person, the world will keep going without me. So, you know what? I have to keep going and just live with it, you know?
You gotta chase the world, man. That'll be. Yeah, content creation really can be one of those more miserable scapes to be in. Because, hey, you are a creative industry, and, you know, creative industries don't exactly pay out of the arse for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, I enjoy it, even so. Because, like, my goal on my debut was to have 10 people.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't really... Because, at least before my debut, all I felt I really did was I would see other people's tweets. I'd be like, good morning, good night, good work, good luck, stuff like that. Just casual greetings.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for like a solid month. in the community, I was just doing that. Because I didn't really know how to talk to people or anything. I didn't know how to interact with any people here.
Oh my.
But, I mean, that's how it started, right? That first step.
Yeah.
And,
So was there anyone specific you reached out to first, or did you wait for someone to come to you?
so actually, one of the first people I befriended in the community was Miyano Mia.
Oh.
And that was because I DM'd her asking for advice on overlay stuff.
Oh, yeah. If I
'Cause
if I recall,
mm,
she's the one that's done your logo and current overlays, was it?
yes, yes. 'Cause originally I had tried to make my own,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I asked her a lot on, you know, whether the colors I'm using look fine or if they look pleasing to the eye or if they clash or whatever. And 'cause I didn't wanna spend money on an overlay back then when I feel like I could make do, you know, kind of, throwing something together myself.
Hmm.
And I don't think it looked particularly bad, but the background for sure looked like it was done by a 5-year-old.
Oh my.
And the one I have now is definitely an upgraded version, so
Ah, yeah.
but
When
yeah.
I tuned in and saw the new overlay, I was like, oh wow, that's actually quite
Mhm,
nice.
mhm. Yeah, 'cause she offered to do that for me, and I was like, "Oh, nice.
Because yeah,
Thank you."
graphics design is far from one of my passions. I do
Mhm.
like the main field of which I'm specialized in. There are two. It's writing and game design, and both of them
Mm.
are horrifying fields to be in. Now, with game
Oh,
design,
yeah.
UX
Definitely.
or UI is very important. So
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
about the grasp I have of graphics design. Whether something is streamlined looking enough to not get in the way of the action, or whether it
Yeah.
gives enough information. So when it comes to overlays, you look at some of them could be like very gaudy, very annoying, others maybe
Mhm.
too simple, and then you find the ones that look really nice and are just hit that sweet spot and are just right.
Mhm,
And you
mhm.
go around, look at those, and you're like, okay, how can I emulate these? Or how can I give them a shot?
Yeah. 'Cause I know I wanted mine to just be very, very, simple. I was just going for, like, a dusk sort of calm looking thing, for lack of eloquent words, 'cause I don't have a much creative bone in my body.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it definitely was a huge step up when Mia, uh, did the one that I have now, so I am very, very thankful.
Hmm. As myself, I just went and made my own on some random program where they were like, oh, yeah, these are free assets, go for it. Creative Commons and all, just use them.
Mm.
So when
Even
I,
the bar?
the bar itself I actually commissioned, and that was,
Ah, okay,
that's a
okay.
story on its own. It's just a case of, I was like, you know, if I'm gonna be interviewing people, I should at least get something nice, or at least something that
Mm,
won't make people want to tear their eyes out. So I was like, you know
mm,
what? I'll go with the theme that I normally like most, which is just more floral elements, essentially, and just shove those into a
mhm.
bar. Hence all the flowers on the bar and the
Paintings of them.
the paintings in the back. Now, mind you, this would be
Mm.
terrible as a functional bar because if you think of it, those flowers are sitting on top of like a bunch of glasses. And if you think of all the
Yeah.
dirt and random stuff that would drop, you'd be like,
Yeah.
you'd be wanting to polish those glasses for days.
Mhm. And I noticed how you put the chat on the monitor, and I thought that was really nice.
Oh yeah, so I wasn't actually initially asking for a monitor or anything, and
Mm.
the artist just drew that in, and I was like, huh? Eh? I mean, I'll use it, sure. So I just shoved whatever I could fit there.
Mm, mm, mm.
But yeah, it's, I don't know, it's interesting to see what can go on when you just start looking around and being like, what can I improve about the visual aspect of everything?
Yeah. Because I know for my stuff, I still want to have a transition animation, and then I want to have like an actual, because I don't really have a BR, like if I need to go do something, a BRB screen, and the opening one and the closing one. Well, not the closing one anymore, but the opening one still was something that I just did myself, and it's kind of scuffed. So,
And the one I've got is just pixel art, and I just shoved the loading part on it and went, yeah, I'll make this look like an old game. That'll do.
I mean, I think that looks really nice, though.
Because, yeah, it was just something within my capabilities. I was like, yeah, I mean, it'll do for now. Why not? Yeah, but, yeah. Let's say graphical design. Let's say. Wow, I'm actually stumped here for once. Oh. Because, yeah, graphics design is far from one of my passions, so it's a bit... In which case, I'll just move to the other thing that I normally get through, which is just, what kind of games do you normally look out for when it comes to playing? Like, if you want to stream something, what would you play?
I guess a lot of the streams that I did at first were more, I guess, active games. Like, it would be League or Valorant, Apex.
Ooh.
More things that I'm going to be like really actively trying in the game and all that. But I don't know. A lot of the time I don't feel like a very superly energetic person or have a lot of high energy as a lot of the people that I know in the community are.
Yeah. High energy is... Yeah, it's something for some people.
Yeah, and I definitely don't have the actual energy to maintain that for an entire stream. Unless it's different when it's a collab though, because I can get energy off of other people's energy, if that makes sense.
I know the feeling, because, yeah, when you can play off of someone else, bounce back and forth, it's like, yeah, less to think about, just go straight into it, go for the feeling instead.
It's like, I don't know, I prefer, I feel like I prefer games that are more, not really easy, but they don't require my full attention. So like, playing Mahjong was one, playing TFT, or various sort of dungeon crawler roguelike kind of games where I can play the game but also interact with chat. I mean, in the end, it's just becoming just chatting with a bit of flavor, I guess.
Hey, I mean, I once heard from a friend that was very, very particular about his tastes when it came to VTubing, and that was that he considered gaming streams as like the lowest tier of content, and Zatsudan or just chatting as like the highest tier of content. Which was...
I mean, just chatting streams are hard.
Yeah,
because you need to be able to
talk endlessly is definitely a skill that I've seen only a couple of people pull off. Like, even
because I mean, with the gaming ones, right?
Yeah.
You can always just use the game to keep things alive. So like I'm not saying it takes no skill, but it's easier that way.
Yeah, it's significantly easier.
Whereas if it's just chatting, then you're really putting in more effort for that to keep it going.
But yeah, for just chatting, when I see someone that's able to keep it up for like 6 hours, and I've seen someone which has kept it up for 6 hours, I'm just like, this person's crazy.
Yeah.
And then, like, even at the radio place I worked at, we had radiothons, and those were just marathon sessions of radio. However, we'd switch out hosts every 2 hours. so that if the hosts wouldn't get like dead tired and just be unable to function. It'd be more a case of, okay, take a break. You're gonna be back on in like 4 or 5 hours, so take it easy.
And just tag out.
Yeah, it'd just be tag in, tag out. So anyone
Yeah.
I see who's able to sustain just being able to talk to, being able to talk to the void, or just being able to talk wherever for an inane amount of time, and manage to stay with some kind of interest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I definitely want to be able to do as well. Be able to have a just chatting stream, but not like have those awkward silences or anything like that. And there's some other VTubers that I watch that are really good at that, and I'm just so astounded with their ability to do that. And I really look up to them.
Yeah, a friend of mine I'd known from way back, way too far back, ended up becoming a VTuber at the start of, not quite the start of last year, but late last year actually, come to think of it. And yeah, one of the things I didn't expect her to do really was endurance streams, because every time she goes live, it's for 6 hours.
Oh god.
Or 6 hours plus.
Usually,
I'm just like, that's absolutely insane. And the person's a workaholic by nature, and I'm just like, even last night it was like 4 a.m. and I was like, I'm going to go to sleep, because if I don't, I'm going to be delusional as hell during this interview. You should probably go to sleep as well. And then she was like, oh, I have a stream and I need to get assets ready. I'm like, it's 4 a.m.
Yeah, because I know there was someone that I know who they went live, and I was awake when they went live, and then I went to sleep because it was late for me. I woke up this morning and they were still live, and I was just like, excuse me? How?
But yeah, do you ever see yourself doing an endurance stream?
Man, like, I know people do like, oh, 12-hour subathons and all that, and I'm here just like, I can barely stream for more than 4. Most of the time, it's like 2.5.
Yeah, and I last roughly the same, 2.5 to 3 hours. After that, it's a bit of a case of energy just kind of dies, and you just go like, it's like, oh, I want to sleep, or oh, I just want to eat something. Or just,
I know, like,
yeah.
if it's like a game that I'm playing, like, because I know when I streamed some Omori before, I played that for like 4 hours, but it was because I just didn't want to put it down because I was so intrigued by the story. But like, man, because I know Asahina Chie, she does a lot of just chatting streams, but they'll go on for like 6 hours. Even like her normal streams where she's playing a game, they'll go on for like 6 hours more than, and I don't know how people do that. And I know some of hers are like early, like she'll do it in gremlin hours, right? Like from 1 a.m. until like 5 in the morning, and I'm just like,
Gremlin hours, eh? Me, I try to make sure I don't end up in gremlin hours. I've ended up there maybe once or twice in past. Because, yeah, there are people which need to sleep, and because of the way my mic is set up, I do need to speak at a decent volume for it to pick up. But then, yeah, if something hype happens, you don't exactly want to just be stuck being like, yeah, oh god, I can't be loud.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, I'm usually up to gremlin hours, but not streaming.
I mean, at this point for you, it's getting closer to 11 p.m., sort of?
Yeah, 2 minutes to that.
Yeah, in my case,
Which,
it's...
as far as things are, that's still pretty early for me, so...
for me, it's barely 3 p.m. here. So, normally on these kinds of interview streams, since the bar setting, I'd normally just be having a drink myself, but yeah. Day drinking is a bit too much of a luxury, I'd say. Even if it is a Sunday.
Oh, right, because you're ahead.
Yep.
Right, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. I may as well make the joke. How does it feel talking into the future?
Tell me, what's that? What are the lottery numbers? I need money, please.
Oh my god. But yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Oh wait, chat is being a bit more active now.
Uh,
Have you taken a
oh,
look
I
at it?
wasn't looking at it. Hold on, I'll take a look. Oh, Heikawa and Hibiki. No, we're not drinking. Unless you count Dr. Pepper as drinking.
Oh, hey, you've got a Dr. Pepper as well? Really nice.
Oh, are you drinking it right now?
Yeah, because okay,
Hell yeah.
Dr. Pepper's it's a rare commodity down here, so I'm just like whenever I get it, I'm just very tempted to just crack one open.
Mm. One of my friends came over and just gave me an entire box of Dr. Pepper cans because
Oh
it was my
wow.
birthday recently, and
Yeah, Dr. Pepper is just one of those really acquired tastes. So it's just like,
yeah, but I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I like it a lot as well because it's just like, this is
Mm.
something I did not expect to enjoy, but it's quite nice. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It feels at least slightly better than downing a Coke, for instance, because you
Yeah,
down a
no, I
Coke and it's
definitely
like,
agree.
yeah, you feel it just corroding at your teeth, and then half the time with a Dr Pepper, you think, oh, it's like medicine, kind of. So
Yeah.
you don't think twice about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have gremlins that stream as well in your chat.
Oh yeah. My chat. This is your chat.
I
Well, it is your chat now,
it's my
but
chat, but they've come and invaded, you know?
yeah, Hibiki, she streams like she's in a different time zone, but I'll like go to sleep in my like I'll sometimes lurk in her streams and I'll go to sleep and then I'll wake up and then she's still streaming and I'm just you people are crazy.
Nice. Oh no. Then there's the case of say Blue over here. He's in my time zone, but he streams at the wrong hours too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
streaming as if he's in a different one.
Yeah. How does one put it? It feels at times like the guy's nocturnal. He's been fixing that up recently, but for a while, yeah,
Mm.
it was a case of I look at
I
my
mean,
stream notifications in the morning and it's like he went live at like what's 4 a.m. or 6 a.m. I'm like, eh.
uh I could never. Man, that's the time when like I'm about to go to sleep.
Oh god, yeah, Blue just says he
EST
was in
most of
EST.
January. Man, go to sleep. Except I don't really have the right to say that because I don't.
I mean, I
I'm
sleep.
I'm in a different time zone too.
Yeah, I sleep in godforsaken hours too, because yeah, I don't know. When it's at nighttime and everything's just peaceful, it's just like, yeah, I can spend more time reading.
Mm.
Because yeah, you just find something that's nice to read. You don't put it down. You look at the clock again, then it's like, oh, whoops.
Suddenly, hours have passed.
But yeah, since we are in a bar setting here, do you drink much alcohol, so to speak?
Admittedly, I don't drink much. I usually only drink socially,
Ah,
or if there's some, I guess if there's some cause for celebration.
fair enough.
Yeah, I usually drink more fruity drinks myself as well.
No, those are the nice ones. Because for me, I'm not a fan of beer at all, or beer or
Oh yeah,
ciders.
same. I don't like it.
Those are quite murderous for me, because it's like, yeah, because with spirits, I tend to have a fairly high tolerance, or a surprisingly high tolerance. But the moment I down 1 or 2 beers, I'm just like, oh god, this feels awful.
Yeah, because like I don't drink much, but I also have a high tolerance. It's just I don't like the taste of beer.
Yeah, it's...
And like, so that one will make me feel sick and nauseous, but not in the drunk way.
And like, it's... like, the easiest way I've described it, beer before, is like salty or soggy bread, essentially.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Man. I was in a group chat with other people the other day, and I was mentioning how I hate wet bread because it just
Oh.
makes me gag. And then they started sending pictures of wet bread, and I almost threw up.
Oh my. Wet bread. Oh, Christ.
I hate it. It looks so disgusting to me.
Wet bread is something of depression.
Mm.
Because, like, during my uni days, I was the kind of idiot who wouldn't grab a proper dinner, essentially.
Mm.
So it'd be, oh, wait, the bakery is still open at this hour? Everything there is
Pets.
really cheap, okay? Swing by there, pick up whatever, baked goods, head back to the
Mm.
table, and everyone's like, wait, why are you eating bread? I'm like, bread's good. And then there's Blue. Hydrated bread is perfectly fine, he says.
Oh god. Drunk Yas. I don't know if you'll ever see that.
The
I don't think
drunken
I've
Yasin.
drank on stream yet. No, I
For
don't think I have.
me, my track record is probably about half my streams have been done while I've been drinking. Or at
Mm.
least when I'm drinking or when someone else is drinking. But yeah, for
Mm.
me, it's not too bad because high tolerance won't do anything dumb or stupid anyway.
Yeah.
But for others, it's a bit like,
Yeah, no, because usually at like gatherings with friends, I'll have like a little bit to drink, but I'm usually like the mom of the group kind of
uh,
thing. So I'm trying to make sure nobody's dying.
yes, yeah, I know that feeling because I drink, then I play medic anyway.
Yeah.
Because the more horrifying situations I've dealt with, and Blue has witnessed one of these firsthand, was there was a New Year's party and there was at least 10 to 12 casualties. Is the easiest way of putting it. It'd just be, after a certain point of the night, people would just immediately just drop and start, yeah.
Oh
And it
god.
was like, oh god. Oh, Blue was one of those casualties at some point. That was a dodgy case of seeing
Uh,
it. But yeah, when
mm,
when you happen to have first aid qualifications, well, someone's got to play medic, you know.
yeah, someone has to do it. Put them in the recovery position so that they don't end up choking on their vomit.
Because yeah, there are, like, I don't know why I have half the qualifications I do, but I have them, so I have
Mm,
to make use of them.
mm.
Because yeah, the other dodgy one I have is probably the fact that I'm a certified chef for almost no good reason.
Certified chef.
Yep. It's a case of,
I
yes,
mean,
I can work in a
mm,
restaurant, or I could start up my own at a given point, but at the
mm.
same time, why did I do this again?
I mean, at least you know how to cook. My cooking skills are very limited.
Oh, what kind of stuff can you cook then?
I can make instant noodle. No, I'm kidding. I can scramble eggs and cook bacon on the pan, but mm, I don't know if I trust myself to do more. Because there was a time when I set a pan on fire trying to scramble an egg. So
Wait. How did you pull that
I,
one off?
I don't remember how it happened. I just remember it happening.
That you managed to. Okay, that's
Yeah, I don't remember how it happened, but it happened.
that's a different kind of amazement there. Because yeah,
Yeah. One
because
day, like, I can still cook, like, simple things. It's just that happened one time.
because yeah, for me, I've gone out of my way to flambeer stuff before, which is like just literally setting the pan on fire with alcohol, and it's just like,
Mm.
ah, yes,
I mean,
everything's on
that's
fire
with
now.
the intent, though.
Yeah, that's what the intent. It's like everything's on fire now. This is fine. God, please don't look into the kitchen right now. Or please don't trigger any smoke alarms.
Yasen cannot cook. No, I cannot cook. Well, I mean, I can cook. I can cook simple things. I can scramble eggs. I can make bacon. I can make rice.
I mean, the fanciest thing I can probably do is making lasagna from scratch, the pasta sheets and all.
Ooh, that sounds
Because
good.
yeah, because I used to work at an Italian place for a while, and that was just
Mm.
It was an experience because it was one of those more tourist trappy sort of Italian places. Where the main attraction was kind of like a pizza oven on the outside, and I worked like the pizza section, so you'd get a bunch of Korean or Indian tourists come by, and then suddenly, oh yes, make a show of flipping dough all over the place. Ew. Ew. It's like, oh Christ. But yeah. Oh, random question from chat. How do you wash your rice?
Not with a strainer. If you wash it with a strainer, I swear to God, I will actually strangle someone. And please don't wash. Someone showed me a video of like this person making rice, and they like washed it through a strainer, and then they also the thing was they washed it after the rice was already cooked, and that
Oh.
just it confused me. Why would you do that? Now your rice is soggy. And please,
Like, if you're making
have
rice porridge, maybe, but if not, then no, God, no.
I have very strong opinions about rice, but then again, I'm Asian, so you know.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, yeah, rice is a case of just strain it once, keep a bit of water in, strain it the second time if it's that bad. If not, just get it straight on. 'Cause, yeah.
Like, definitely wash the rice before you cook it. Either cook it on a pan or put it in a rice cooker. Please don't microwave your rice. I don't trust microwavable rice. That doesn't seem right to me. Because I learned actually very recently that was a thing, and I was so
rice,
confused.
Yeah. Microwave rice is definitely a thing. I'm not a big fan of it either, so it's like, yeah.
I've never seen that before. Like I've only heard of it now, and I can't even imagine how that would taste.
Okay, so there's one very maddening thing that I had to have come across at some point, and it was whole canned chicken. Yes, an entire chicken thrown into a can. That's a thing. Why is that a thing?
Like, is it like a really big can?
Yeah, it's one hell of a big can.
Oh my god.
You can imagine how horrifying it is once you open it.
Oh god.
Yep.
But then you get like, because when you get things out of a can, right? Like you know it's from a can when you eat it, right? Like you can kind of
there's that
taste
sort of...
can.
Yeah.
Like this, I don't think that's a good way of putting it, but like you understand what I mean, right? Like you can tell it was from a can.
Long-term storage, yeah.
Man, I also found out the other day that canned bread was a thing.
Oh, canned bread.
And it looks like meatloaf.
Yeah, it does. Certainly does. Like, you'd be surprised what they can shove in a can.
Man.
Because, yeah, that, like, whatever an astronaut needs up there, you can be sure they freeze-dried it and thrown it in a can at some point.
Either a can or they make it into some kind of paste or something.
Canned bread sounds absolutely horrifying, though, is the thing.
It looks so bad. Because I found out about it, I watched a video of someone reviewing it, and it didn't look good. They said it didn't taste good. They tried putting butter on it, and they said, okay, it tastes better. But then again, it might just be because it's butter.
Yeah, butter really does fix a lot of things when it comes to cooking. For instance, let's see, if I'm gonna go back into like chefing theory sort of stuff, the French were among the first to like standardize a lot of recipes and techniques and stuff. So if you can speak a modicum of French and know the techniques by the French names, you can work in functionally any kitchen around the world. So if you know what brunoise is, a jardiniere, a julienne, etc., you're perfectly fine to work in any kitchen. Because they can just go by those terms and you're like, oh, perfect, go for that.
Oh, the way how I should know what any of that means, but I don't.
Ah, nah, very few people outside of chefing do properly know what each of those means. But yeah.
Because I live in Canada, so French is our second language, but...
Oh, I see.
It was optional at some point.
Oh boy. Like, The two main languages I have to deal in are English and Vietnamese because of my own heritage. But yeah, Vietnamese is a case of I can listen to it pretty damn well. So anytime my parents say a dirty joke or something, I'm just like, yeah, you know I could understand that, right? But yeah.
But then speaking it is
torture for me.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that.
It's just Christ. Being able to speak one's own heritage language is just like there's so many people which can do it, and then yeah, there's me which is like I can listen.
I can't even understand the language that I should know because I'm also Filipino, but I don't understand like anything except for what was screamed at me as a kid. I understand more Japanese than I do. Man.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, that particular phrase is one that I'd rather not repeat the meaning of in English. But yes, every time you slam down a card, in a Vietnamese card game, by all means, scream out the phrase.
Am I gonna have to Google what that means?
Don't worry about it too much.
Oh, I see.
Yes, it's one of the more common ones where you just slam down a card and shout that out at the top of your lungs.
Yeah, okay, okay, I see.
Because yeah, us Viet fellows, yeah, we really do like our card games. Let's see. It's getting on to the later side of things on your end. Did you want to sing anything, or?
Oh, right, you did mention that. So when you mentioned that, I was like, all right, sure, why not? And then I went and looked through songs. I'm like, oh God, I don't know what to sing. So there was actually I posted it as a Vokaru originally, and then I deleted it because embarrassing. But because I couldn't figure out what to sing, I'll sing that one. Not that I have any instrumental to go with it.
Okay.
Because it's something that was written with a friend way back in the day.
Oh my.
And it was written with them playing the ukulele, and I don't play the ukulele, nor do I even own one. So, so I guess it will be a cappella.
All right. Yeah, give me a second to just pause the BGM then. All right, BGM's dead.
Okay, hold on. Man, and I remember the only reason I posted it was because I just thought it was relevant to this month since it's Valentine's month.
Oh my.
And it is a love song-ish thing. And but yeah. Man, I wish I took the ukulele though, because I originally I learned the piano growing up because Asian things. You
Yeah.
learn some and you're told to
something.
learn an instrument of some sort. And mine was piano.
In my lot, it was either piano or violin. I went with piano.
Oh, I wish, because I would have wanted to learn either the violin or the guitar, but I ended up being with the piano.
Fair enough.
Which sucks because I haven't touched the piano in years. So all that money for lessons went nowhere.
I've just got a keyboard sitting right next to me that I can just randomly switch on and play whenever.
All right. So I guess I will sing this. I'm gonna turn off my on. How does this sound? Does this sound any different now? Bad?
Not necessarily. Sounds fine.
Okay. So I didn't know if there's background things. I just turned off the NVIDIA's background noise filter and all that.
Okay.
I don't know if that'll like affect when I'm singing. Because I don't know how technology works.
Actually, wait, try turning it back on, because a bit of your words are being cut off at the end. Or just
Okay.
at the end of it.
Alright. Okay. So I turned it back on now.
Okay, I think
And I'm wondering if that's just because I went a bit farther away from the mic instead.
maybe. Let's see, with the NVIDIA stuff, I don't think it should affect your singing too much if you just sing, so should be fine.
Okay. Alright. Well, okay. I guess now that I'm singing this live and not just as a Vocaroo recording, man.
Hey, welcome back to the stage, you know?
I'm having because I have participated in a musical, but
Oh, wait, you have. Very nice, then.
yeah. Not that I am particularly great at singing, but that was back in high school, so no one really cared as much. Alright. I'm ready, I guess.
Alright, go for it.
When my eyes met you, that's when I knew first sight could truly exist. Like a fairy tale from a book, thought love was a myth until I felt this. And I know I seem crazy from the way you instantly amaze me. What is this that I'm feeling? I'm just a lovesick lunatic. Call a medic. I think that I'm crazy in love. Yes, I am a lovesick lunatic. Call a medic. I think that I'm crazy in love with you. 'Cause I think about you night and day. I can't help but go insane. You're all of what's in my brain. I guess I'm a lovesick lunatic. La da da da. When I dream of to do if I could only hold your hand. As my mind goes around, take just to be your man. And my heart would pound up earthquakes, and when you're not around, I see your face. Would you find me appealing when I'm just a lovesick lunatic? Call a medic. I think that I'm crazy in love. Yes, I am a lovesick lunatic. Call a medic. I think that I'm crazy in love. Because I think about you night and day. I can't help but go insane. You're all of what's in my brain. I can't help the way I feel. 'Cause loving you is so unreal. Oh, no need for pills nor medication. When you're my only mediation. Whoa. And I know I sound stupid, but without you, I just might lose it. So leave me within your care and think of the life we could share. Also, save me from my mental despair. I'm just a lovesick lunatic. Call a medic. I think that I'm crazy in love. Yes, I am a lovesick lunatic. Call a medic. I think that I'm crazy in love. 'Cause I think about you night and day. I can't help but go insane. You're all of what's in my brain. Yeah, and save me from all the pain. I guess I'm a lovesick lunatic. La da da da. Oh, 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 oh. And that's it.
Oh, and this one claims he's not good at singing. Oh my.
I don't think
Ah,
I'm super amazing. I just
there
think I'm alright.
there are some people which would kill to be able to hit certain notes that you just managed to. Is the thing. Because yeah, it's impressive being able to hit very distinct tones.
Hmm.
Eh, some parts of that cut off a bit. It might have just been your what's it call it? Might have just been a bit of the noise gating, but
Mm.
it's fixable
Like if it
when
peaks, I guess.
yeah, a tad, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Overall, Jesus, man. And you're saying that wasn't original?
Yeah, it was something that a friend and I wrote way, way back in the day.
Does it have a title?
Lovesick Lunatic.
'Cause yeah, if I were to break down the kind of song or genre it kind of feels like, it very much feels like musical theater, actually.
Yeah.
Like early 2000s Broadway, essentially.
Oh. I mean, yeah.
That
Yeah, yeah.
that's the general feeling I got from it, and I wouldn't have been too surprised if it came with a more orchestral, bombastic sort of backing sound to it as well.
Mm. Who knows? Maybe it might one day, but no. At least when it was written, it was just with the music just being from a ukulele, so
Do you remember the chords for it at all? Or
no, because I wasn't the one playing the ukulele.
I
I wish, I wish.
it'd be possible to recreate an instrumental for that, I'd say.
Mm.
Yeah, that was wow. Is what I can say about that. Damn, man. Damn. Uh,
Mm.
gotta do a karaoke stream at some point, man.
Oh, I
This
definitely want to, and I definitely have it planned. It's just because normally I stream in the evenings because especially, right now, I don't have access to my computer during the day because I have to do other stuff.
fair enough.
So I'm just worried about creating annoying the family, but I mean, I'll probably do one eventually.
Uh, yeah, fair enough. I mean, as I mentioned before, I'm just completely shameless at this point.
Mm. If anything, I'll just, like, I don't know, put cloth in the gaps of my door and pray to God that that's enough to not annoy people.
Hmm. Me, I'm just glad that my room is kind of isolated, while at the same time having sunlight manage to hit the damn place from at least 4 or 5 different directions, which is a
Mm.
different kind of horror because this thing is a bloody oven and it's the middle of summer right now.
Ah, ah. Yeah, I live in the basement, so I don't actually have, like, any windows in my room.
I've too many windows to the point where if there's a thunder strike at any point, my entire room gets flashbanged.
Oh my god.
It's just a massive flash, boom. Everything goes
Yeah,
flashes
see,
white.
mine is the complete opposite. If I don't know what the weather is like outside, unless I look it up or I actually go upstairs.
Oh my. Well, I can say one thing. Your room's got good acoustics at the very least.
Mm, mm. But yeah, that I don't know, I wanna sing a lot more and I wanna get better,
Hmm.
'cause or at the very least, I wanna get more confidence in it. 'Cause like I said before, I was never really confident in it, and even the cover that I made, it was only because someone told me to do it, who was in the chat earlier, I think, so
Oh my.
yeah. I don't know if she stayed to actually hear the song, but yeah, it was Usami, so much thanks to her for giving me the confidence to sing more.
uh, I'd say yeah, you can go quite a damn far away. Because if that's just raw vocals, then buddy.
Oh boy.
Because yeah, I don't know. When it comes to vocals for myself, I was just like, all the way up till the end of high school, I considered my own singing voice absolute dog shit, just like full on
Mm,
monotone. Then yeah, uni rolled around. I went to a karaoke one time, like, hey, oh, I can sing decently. Who'd have thunk?
mm.
And from there, yeah, karaoke just became some kind of addiction, and I'd show up anytime there was an opportunity.
Oh, definitely. I definitely want to go karaoke because actually I've never been to a karaoke place before. The only time I've
Oh,
ever done karaoke was like when the family busts out the machine.
oh my. Yeah, in my case, there's just one local spot in the city where a
Mm,
bunch of where I just invite like a whole bunch of other karaoke addicts out to every month. It's just like, oh yeah,
mm.
we'll go here, we'll sing. And the reason why it's that one specific spot in the city is because yeah, it's the only place that offers
Oh
Japanese
my
songs as well.
god.
So the
Mm,
entire set list is all J-pop.
mm.
Speaking of which, how do you feel of the trend with like songs which get famous through like VTubing, essentially? Like they might be chart toppers,
Mm,
and then suddenly a VTuber picks it up, and then suddenly it spreads like wildfire. Say something like Yoru ni Kakeru or King, for instance.
mm. Just my thoughts on how they end up spreading or
Yeah, just
the songs themselves.
yeah, why not go give a shot at both?
Um, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing, right? If it spreads through because of VTubers as well, because it's just another way of exposure for the song, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that hmm, I don't really know, because I never really thought about it, I guess, because I just like listening to songs in general. I don't really
Ah,
think about it. But then, I don't know. I like the songs.
ah.
I definitely want to cover King at some point. Less because of the song and more because it gives me an excuse to get that art commission because that art looks so cool.
Yeah, I'd agree with
I
that.
just I just
That
really want
art
an art
is
piece like that because it looks
yeah,
so good.
it looks really nice. It's just like, yep, king.
Mhm. But
But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. For King, the song itself, every time I try it, I love it in certain parts because I'm like, God,
Oh, because some parts it goes really fast.
it's more the expression for some parts because I can keep up with the
Oh,
speed.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
I've done some faster songs before, but yeah,
Mm.
because like for instance, Charles or Dakara Boku wa Ongaku o Yameta, those two songs go by really fast, and I can keep up. It's just King. It's just like certain parts of the expression and the timing is just they throw you off so
Oh,
much.
yeah, yeah, I get that. Because like, I know I listened to, Miu Octavia, her cover of it,
Oh,
and, like, there are parts where, like, I only learned that this was terminology for it recently, but where she'll, like, growl certain parts,
oh
and I'm
yeah,
just like, "Yo, that sounds so cool, I wanna be able to do that." But
yeah.
then I was
Growl
told that
stuff
if you
is
don't do that
yeah.
yeah, I was told that's hard, and if you don't do it properly, you risk hurting yourself, so I'm just like, maybe not."
Ah, yeah. Like there are only a couple of songs out there where I go for the growl because it's really nice sounding expression when you pull it off, or just sounds really cool rather when you pull it
Mhm,
off.
yeah,
It's
it
like
sounds so cool, and I wanna be able to, but I'm scared.
yeah, because the main issue is you have to learn to be able to sing with both your, well, you have to be able to sing with the rest of your body, not just your throat alone. Because if you
Mhm, yeah.
growl purely from your throat, you're going to damage it to hell.
Mhm, yeah, and
Because
that's
yeah.
scary. Ugh.
I don't know. Vocals are unfortunately one of those things which hasn't been standardized properly. People throw out a million different terms, and none of them, well, all of them kind of mean the same thing, while at the same time not meaning anything at all.
Mm,
For instance, there are some
yeah, I don't know.
people. So, for instance, have you ever tried experimenting with falsetto? For instance, the
It's like the high
the
voice,
very
right?
very high voice. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely cannot do that.
Oh no, I can't. I can't hit it for the life of me either. Because my highest is usually from, I think it's like range of like A3 to A4 or something like that. I don't
Oh,
know.
I can't even imagine
It's
what
barely.
that sounds like from you saying that.
Let's see. Give me a sec to just flick a switch and we'll see.
Mm,
But yeah, essentially, vocals themselves, they're very interesting to study. It's just that there's no one out there which exactly knows what they're talking about when it comes to
mm,
it, which is one of the more unfortunate parts of it, or of the craft. Because a lot of singing does end up becoming self-taught and by feel. Because the most someone can tell you
mm.
is try achieve a chest voice or try achieve a head voice or sing from your
Oh,
diaphragm or those kinds of
yeah, the
stuff.
the head voice and chest voice thing, one of my friends has tried to explain to me, and I'm just, it goes in one ear, out the other.
Me, I know the feeling of doing so. I don't know the exact technique to getting to that feeling at times, is the thing.
Mm, mhm,
So yeah, it's just that ability to just shout out and then that ability to just, localize certain tones and such. But anyway, for reference, an A4 is something around, let's see. Now this would be an A3 actually. So that's in the bass, pretty much.
mm,
Then the range would keep
m'kay.
increasing as. So around here is about my limit for what sounds good. Anything above that, I have to
Mm,
strain a bit more. So this would be A3.
mm,
And then there's middle C right there. Actually, kind of think of it, that would be. Never mind, that's 5. That's 3 into 4. So yeah,
mm.
A3 to A4 is roughly my range.
So
It's like 1 octave at best.
mm, so I'm gonna say something embarrassing, and, I didn't realize that that meant, like, the keys on the
Ah.
piano kinda thing. 'Cause it makes sense now that I heard the piano, 'cause I used to play piano. I just didn't realize that that translated over to vocals for some reason. Mm.
It definitely does translate over to vocals. Because yeah, for vocals, while they do sound like indistinct notes, essentially, you are
Mhm.
still aiming to hit. You're aiming to make it sound like one unique tone.
Mhm,
And
yeah.
and yeah, Yasen, that is one thing you can seemingly pull off rather naturally. Is the thing. Because the song you sung earlier was like, shit. All right, there are some very distinct tones there. That this guy can narrow in on notes if he needs to. So that this guy can be a pretty damn good singer. Because yeah,
Ah,
it takes a lot of practice or just a lot of yeah.
I am honored that you think so.
I'll just say throw in the effort and you'll see results most
Mm,
definitely.
yeah. I definitely wanna sing more and practice more. I just need to, 'cause one of my friends, well, I say one of my friends, I'm just gonna say, Usami got mad at me yesterday because I told you I told you before we started how my voice was like dying yesterday because I was recording stuff like all day, and while I
Oh
was doing
man.
it, I was drinking Dr. Pepper, so I got in trouble.
Yeah, because soft drinks tend to just murder your throat because it's that whole
Mhm.
corrosive feel. It's just like,
Yeah.
that's not great. Normally,
Mhm.
let's see. So I'm not exactly the best advocate for good practice either, because at times I do some very dodgy stuff.
Mm.
Because let's say the karaoke sessions I go to, they're not like 1 or 2 hours. They're 6-hour marathons essentially. Because the place
Mhm.
offers a very nice deal for 6 hours.
Oh god.
If you can get 3 people together in one room, you can pay a small amount for 6 hours, and it's like, oh, this is good stuff. But then, well, you're stuck there for 6 hours, sharing a mic
Mhm.
between 3 people. So it's like, oh boy, you're gonna have to get through a lot of songs, buddy.
Yeah. 'Cause songs, like, on average, right, those are, like, 4.5 minutes ish.
Yeah, 4.5 minutes thereabouts. So you need to
Then
fill
like
a lot
6
of
minutes
space.
for somewhat longer songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a lot.
It's a rough 2 hours per person, only I'm that madman which jumps in and duets a lot of things.
I mean, but it's more fun that way,
Yeah,
right?
it is more fun that way. Because one of the times I went, I counted up all the songs that I had done during the day just by reading back through the history, and I was like, wait, I've joined in on like 50 of these. How? It's
Yeah.
just
And
kind of
something.
insane to think about that there are some people out there which can do this solo.
Yeah. And something that Sami also got mad at me about is because I don't do vocal ups because I I don't know how that works, and it seemed like extra effort. And she got mad at me about that.
Let's see. Warming up vocals is me. I kind of do the bad practice of singing a song I know has a whole bunch of different ranges and just flexing my range as I go along. For getting to like more technical stuff, if you think like practicing piano, just do your scales, but with your voice instead. Because as I mentioned, you can hit distinct notes, so all you need to figure is do those distinct notes in ascending and descending order. And that way
Yeah, that's
you've got...
definitely something I need to learn to do and actually put into practice and stop being lazy about.
There's plenty of programs out there which can help with it. Because, yeah, most people say take some vocal lessons for a little while, and then once you've established a routine of some kind, just go with that. Yeah, it is way too specific a practice, because another friend of mine has gone off and started learning from an opera singer, for instance, but
Oh god.
said singer is very specific on their own technique as well. So his own singing has been influenced by that too. Or at least what he places emphasis on. So, yeah. Everyone has different ways they go about things. Finding a tutor of which is specific to, say, doing J-pop or J-rock or something is very different from finding someone for musical theater. Yeah, said friend was blue, but yes. But yeah, a lot of my friends which were karaoke addicts are now starting to take it a lot more seriously and just go along with actually taking vocal lessons and giving it a shot. Because they're like, oh, I actually want to sing these songs out there.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought about it before because I never really took singing all that seriously prior to this, and I'm only now just I only really now just want to get better at it, like, legitimately, so, Because I never really, like, cared enough to get better, I guess. I kinda just wanted to sing for the hell of it whenever I felt like it.
Yeah, that was me until about last year, I think, roughly. Sometime last year. There was a case of, oh, yeah, I can sing at a decent standard, but what if I actually want to try and impress people? And it's like, oh, yeah, I can think of a couple of ways to improve. Apply some music theory, go with that, see the results. And yeah, there are songs which in past I would have avoided simply because they sounded way too fast or way too hard. And now I'm just like, yeah, these songs are my specialty.
I think I prefer, like, slower songs myself.
Yeah, slower songs are nice. I'd find more trouble in, like, enunciating for certain slower songs, because, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, just as with any slow piano piece where you have to add a dumb amount of expression or delicate expression, same goes with some of the singing as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whenever you have to drag out notes, it's like, if this is a melisma, then you have to carry several different notes in that one sustained sort of phrase. Or
And then
if
if you
it's,
mess it up, oh, will it show?
yeah, it'll definitely show, because melisma is the case of where you have to try and shift between those distinct notes, and if you fail those distinct note shifts, it's like, not great.
Everyone will know. You can hear
Everyone
it.
will
It
know.
shows.
You go from a melisma to more of a tremolo, and then tremolo is just like,
Mm.
Tremolo works fine on like a woodwind instrument. It doesn't work fine with the human voice, unfortunately. So it's like, yeah. Could be worse,
Mm-hmm.
but hey. It's all in the technique at this point.
Yeah. I mean, just practice, right? The more you do it, the better you'll get eventually.
Yeah, because I pretty much started being strict with myself and being like, okay, Ika, you gotta sing. Sing at this point of the day, or sing when you'd piss off the least amount of people. Except for Fridays.
Mm.
Friday nights, I don't care, I'm singing. Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who happens to pop into the Discord server on said Friday night, yep, I'm dragging them into.
Oh god.
Because, yeah, that's happened for a few weeks now, where someone suddenly pops in halfway through my karaoke. Hey, hey, hey. You're not
Your
getting out
turn.
until you're singing something. Pretty much.
Mm.
It's fun to see, and I've actually got a couple of really scuffed sounding duets up on this Twitch channel, even.
Mm.
Just randomly highlighted, because why not?
Then isn't there like the audio delay?
So the funny way of how you fix that is you have the person just share their screen,
Mm-hmm.
and while they're sharing their screen, or while they're sharing their screen and singing, you just mute yourself so that they can't necessarily hear you.
Oh.
So unfortunately, it becomes a case
Oh, okay.
of one-sided harmonies instead of two-sided.
Yeah.
So as long as the
Mm.
person that's muted is very good at like supporting or
Mm-hmm.
backup vocals, then yeah, they can carry on with that. For instance, I'm terrible when it comes to leading when singing, but if
Mm.
I'm backing up someone, yep, I'm gonna hit those freaking harmonies.
Okay.
So yeah, if you ever wanted to try duetting something on a stream and you have them in Discord, you can go with that route and just have them stream the
Okay.
instrumental to you or screen share the instrumental to you while they're singing, mute yourself and follow
Mm-hmm.
along for your parts.
Mm.
It's a rather convoluted solution, and the first
I
time
mean,
I
I can see how that works.
yeah, the first time I
Yeah.
saw it was or saw it being used was with Suisei and Kanata, pretty much. Because those
Mm.
two wanted to do a karaoke collab just over Discord, and then they realized, oh wait, we can't pull this off properly. So
Yeah.
they resorted to that method, and I was like, oh wait, that method actually works. So why not?
Mm-hmm. That seems that's good to know actually. Hmm.
Because yeah, if you know your way around audio as well, you can then route your filters and stuff through to Discord as well. And that way you can get all that reverb, all that noise gating, compressing, whatever you need as well to just pump through Discord as well.
Mm-hmm.
So with enough know-how, yeah, you can pull it off pretty easily.
Mm.
The unfortunate case though is if your audio hardware doesn't quite hold up, and then you end up with that slight delay, with which you then have to compensate for.
Mm.
But if you have like an interface, then generally speaking, no problem. If you have a good onboard audio for your motherboard, no problem there either. So yeah, it's usually fine. And
That make
like, what kind of mic are you using these days anyway?
that is a good question. It says Maono on it. Maono. I don't know anything aside from that.
Malno. What kind of shape is it? Is it like more of your typical karaoke mic, or is it more like a block?
Uh, I guess kinda like a karaoke. I know I had the box for somewhere, but I might have recycled it.
Yeah, but when I look up,
I
let's see, when I look up Malnos, they seem to be mainly condenser-looking mics, I guess. So yeah, doesn't seem too bad, at the very least. And hey, your voice is clear enough, anyhow. 'Cause, yeah.
It's oh yeah, no, I'm looking at I searched it up as well, and it looks like it's a condenser mic from the looks of it.
Mhm.
I'm here on. I'll send you what I'm looking at least on.
Alright.
I think it's this one.
Ah, alright. Alright, so condenser mic, plug and play. Oh, alright. Pretty straightforward, huh?
Yeah, I don't understand what any of this stuff means. I don't computer stuff confuse me.
Don't worry, audio stuff confuses even the best of us at times. Because audio is way too different a field that most people never have to dabble into.
Mm.
Because most people think, oh, I have my computer, I have my headset, I'm good to go. And at times, yeah, that's enough. But when you start thinking of like audio production or any kind of vocals and stuff, you then start thinking, oh shit, I actually need to get an upgrade because everything sounds compressed to hell. Or
Mm.
everything sounds like scuffed because any kind of headset mic is only meant to pick up your voice at a speaking sort of level.
Yeah. Mm.
And if you start shouting or screaming into it, it's normally meant to kind of like cut off or tone you down so you don't like deafen the other person
Yeah.
on the other side. Whereas a more studio style mic, these are definitely for being able to scream into and then being able to pick up the quality of said scream, per se. As for instance, this mic I'm using here is the Shure SM58. It is the golden standard for any kind of live audio recording, essentially.
Mm.
So this thing has been around for the better part of, how does one say, 60 years at this point?
Oh
Something
god.
like that. And they haven't had to do any major adjustments to the design. It is also one of the most robust mics in the fact that you can run it over with a pickup truck, pick it up, and still keep using it.
Huh.
It is goddamn sturdy as hell. Some people have used it as a hammer before, plugged it back in after using it as a hammer, and still been able to use it. But
Huh.
yeah, this thing is old reliable. It's the closest thing you get to an all-rounder, at least, because you can also record instrumentals with it.
That's
Let's see, hopefully I don't kill too many people's ears with this, but yeah, instrumentals, very easy to record with this thing on top of anything else, so... That doesn't sound absolutely horrible either, is the thing.
Yeah. What instrument was that?
That's a melodica.
Ah.
Yes, I conveniently have one of those lying around in addition to the keyboard I have in my corner as well. So yeah, it's just interesting to see that there is a mic that you can get very close to something that's an all-rounder. Like, it's not perfect for, like, studio recording, per se, but if you only need it for live stuff, then this thing is... You'll see it in any studio. If you open up the mic cabinet, you'll see this damn thing. Just staring back at you.
I was nodding as if that would be known to anyone.
I honestly spent way too much time dabbling in microphones and stuff before settling on something. Because it was a case of, I like my audio, so I'd rather, if nothing else, my audio has to be good. And then there's a friend of mine which is an absolute audiophile, so if I manage to piss him off somehow, it's like, shit.
Something's gone wrong.
Yeah. Because that guy will just... I don't know. Every time I see him, he's got a new piece of audio tech that he's testing out, and it's like, Christ, man. You've chosen one hell of an expensive hobby, but at the same time, you are one hell of a good resource for finding out whether a set of headphones
What's good and all
is
that?
good. 'Cause, yeah, any recommendations he makes, you send him a set of specs, and he's like, oh, yeah, this is great. Or here you go. This is within your budget. This is what you're asking for, and then whatever quirks come with it.
Interesting.
Yeah, Zal, definitely. Audio tech is a very big hole in your wallet. Because I look at monitoring, or any set for monitoring, it's upwards of 600 plus, and I'm just like, gold standard for monitoring, HD 600. Yes, as the name implies, it is also $600.
Oh my god. Man, money.
Yep, just money. Here's another curveball for you. Maybe the last one of the night, anyhow.
Alright.
Do you ever see yourself being profitable out of this whole venture?
Being what, sorry?
Profitable from this whole venture? Like, have you even broken even?
Definitely have not yet broken even, I think. But, I mean, if I keep at it, I think I will. But, I mean, either way, I don't... like, I appreciate donations and subs and everything like that, but I don't... how do I say it? If I don't get them, then that's fine as well. Because for the most part, while my goals have changed a little now, and I also want to get better as a content creator, and be able to do more and all that, I'm still mostly here just for the fun of it, and because it's something I like to do. Because I don't know, streaming for me feels really cathartic, I guess.
Okay.
So like if I'm stressed out or whatever and it's late at night and I can't really do anything, I'll like go live and just have like a small chat with whoever decides to come in and all that. And I don't know, I just really like that kind of interaction.
Yeah, it's a nice chill sort of space that you've got for yourself when you do stream.
Because as much as I want to make it a nice getaway place and hideout, I guess, for other people, it's also my own little hideout.
Yeah,
where
that
I can
makes
just
sense.
escape from real life stresses.
So for me, I'd normally liken, like, if you're just starting out with streaming, it's kind of like busking, I guess.
Yeah. I can definitely see that, yeah.
Because, yeah, you're there to have fun. You're like, busking is definitely not going to be a job. Is the
Yeah,
thing.
definitely. Like, if you get it, then sweet, right?
Yeah,
But
I've
if you
been out
don't,
there myself
I mean...
as well, so yeah. The license is very cheap, actually. You pay, let's see, when I last went busking, it was like 13 bucks AUD for a couple of months worth of license. And if you make that back, then wow, you're already a very good busker.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's definitely not something you can do as a career.
It is very fun to do though. So in the same vein as any kind of streaming, it's just, yeah, it's a hobby. And I think
I know some people will
yeah,
do it as like a full-time thing as well. But that's really risky.
Yep.
But,
I know
more power to them. I
know
believe
some
in them.
people which are definitely closer to the full-time sort of aspect. There's one idiot friend of mine.
Is this one blue?
Nope. Not blue this
Okay.
time. Thank God not blue this time. If it was blue on this one, I would be very, very, very worried. Because yeah, there's this fellow which I made acquaintance with for a while. A fellow named, what was it, Tenha, I think it is what he goes by these days. Essentially, he streams a lot on Twitch to an average of like 1k, 2k audience. And
oh, wow.
yeah, is an absolute madman, that one, because the way he got his audience was he walleted his way to his audience, is the thing. Which was kind of amazing because it was So he used to stick with Epic 7 as a gacha game and would stream a lot of Epic 7 and pay. Anytime a new hero came out, he would pay out of the nose to make sure he got the hero and used it as content, essentially. And people tuned in on that. Now it's become Genshin, rather. So every
Makes
time
sense,
a
yeah.
new character comes out in Genshin, he'll pick that one up really quickly, do stress testing on stream, and show them off. And that's how he gets a lot of his viewership coming around, because he's the kind of fellow which will break down a game, analyze it, and see what works. And
that's crazy.
yeah, he's one of the crazier guys that I can say has managed to go full-time with it. But his method of full-time is whaling to get back any kind of return, which is kind of amazing to think about. But yeah.
I mean, I guess you do have to spend money to make money, I guess.
But that one's case is a bit on the extreme.
Yeah,
right?
that one's just
But yeah, it's fun to know that there are people out there which can pull that kind of stuff off as well.
Yeah, that's powerful.
It is quite powerful. Anyway, Yasen, it's been a good time, but we've been going on for about
I enjoyed
3
myself
hours, man.
too. All right.
Alright, I should probably find someone to raid, actually. If there's anyone I should... Oh, let's see, there's this duo right here. Let's see, what sounds interesting to you? A tree man or a cat with a crystal?
A tree man or a cat with a crystal? You know what? Let's go with tree man.
Okay, Taro VT, I am raiding you. Let's see. Whenever that raid starts up. If it does start up.
It says in your chat the raid has been cancelled.
Eh? Really?
That's what it's showing. That's what I'm seeing in the chat.
Oh yeah.
That's the same stream. It's
Yeah,
the same collab.
it is. The two guys are collabing with one another.
Oh, okay.
Something went wrong. Try running that quick action sometime again later. Oh yikes. Guess the raid function is just dead, probably. I guess I'll just end the stream then.
Okay. Who are you trying to raid?
Let's see, it was either Taro VT or Monochrist. Two friends of mine that happen to be streaming right now. Anyway, it was a pleasure having you on, Yasen.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I had fun.
If you ever want to swing by whenever I'm streaming, feel free, because I am usually just streaming whenever inside this little space.
You know what? I might actually at some point, if I'm up whenever that is, because
your schedule is an interesting one. I will
yeah,
say.
I don't know where I am in time zones. I'm somewhere.
You're in a rather unique one. Yes,
Alright.
congrats for catching one of my streams in a weird time zone. Anyway, let's get off the air. 3, 2, 1.